Welcome everyone to episode 100 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Hard to believe we made it this far.
Oh yeah.
I am your host Triple J. Joining me is my co-host Dr. Games 101.
What's up, people? We had a good, interesting set of events going on for the last couple of weeks.
Yep, and we're going to cover them. We're going to cover the stories that happened over the last couple of weeks. You ready to start right now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, first story coming up. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits guides players to Xbox in August. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits is making the leap to Xbox in August. The 2021 action-adventure game has been available only on PlayStation and PC, and its move to Microsoft's platform comes with some new in-game goodies. As the debut title by Ember Lab, this story-driven action game stars Kina, a young spirit guide who must unravel the mystery of a destroyed village by helping lost souls move on to the afterlife. She's assisted by the Rory, tiny, adorable spirits Kina can command to aid in puzzle solving and combat. Game's design draws inspiration from series such as The Legend of Zelda, while combat has shades of From Software's Dark Souls. Kina hits Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One on August 15th for $39.99 and will include exclusive pirate-themed Rot hats, a golden Rot skin, and a unique staff for Kina. A new physical premium edition will also be available and will consist of these items, a digital soundtrack, and an exclusive sticker sheet. The Xbox version also includes the anniversary DLC update, which includes the Spirit Guide Trials, additional Kina outfits, and New Game Plus. We awarded Kina Bridge of Spirits a 9 out of 10, with former editor-in-chief Andrew Rhino writing in his review, Bridge of Spirits stumbles a little in spots, yet confidently sprints into the heart of the adventure, rewarding the player with secrets galore and visuals that are almost always worth admiring. If you love Zelda-like games or are just looking for an experience that will make you smile every step of the way, you can't go wrong with Kina, Bridge of Spirits. The game was also a sales success, recouping its developmental cost a month after its initial release in September of 2021. You can learn more about Kina Bridge of Spirits by checking out our behind-the-scenes feature in this cover story blurb. Julian goes, I hope there is a sequel planned for this game. With some adjustments and improvements, this could be a truly stellar IP, but the original had its limitations. MN686 goes, agreed 100%. Zangmaster goes, nice, this was an awesome game. I'd play another one too. So, did you hear about Kina Bridge of Spirits?
For many months, if not years so far, yes. It was released back in 2020 for the PlayStation 5 release of its launch date or launch of games.
I thought it was 2021.
Yeah, that was the original release of Kina Bridge of Spirits back in 2020. But they rolled it back to 2021 the following year or so. And it's supposed to be a launch title with other games like that of what's the game? Final Fantasy VII Remake, Integrate, and other games like that. It's supposed to come out like a picture slew of games like that in the PS4 back during this time. So yeah, but I heard it's a good game. It's not. I mean, at first it seemed kind of childish, looked like something for the kids to play, but anyone can play that game right here. So that's a gameplay of it. It was pretty good. So yeah, like if you have time, and money for buying Kina Bridge of Spirits in the system, or get on PC if ever later on, then go buy it and just go get a copy of it. I'm going to get a copy of it too if I get a PS5 sooner or later. So.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, they said Xbox One and Xbox Series, so I mean, and for $39.99, you really can't go wrong. So, because you're going to get DLC, you're going to get exclusives that at best PlayStation customers would have had to pay for.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't pay attention to that specific one exact console. I forgot it could be a time exclusive like any other game like it was with Tomb Raider and such. So, you know.
Yeah, I never heard of this game before getting stories together for this podcast, but it does sound good. So yeah, I can't say I'm definitely hyped to try it out, but I definitely would give it a chance.
Yeah, it looks good. If you see the gameplay trailer as well as the launch trailer back in 2019 and 2020 when you were 3 4 years old younger. It was worth it at first. At first, being a meme of it with Rich Review Tech USA's facial expressions, one of his videos he made, and I turned it into a meme. You guys can check out my old Facebook postings, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, because at first we thought that it's gonna be some childish game for the PS5 back in 2020, and it's like, man, it really downgraded that game or the set of games for launch. But then all of a sudden, I really see the gameplay trailer, the puzzles. It was good. It looked good. Very interactive. It's kind of like like you said, a mixture of like older games and such, back in this past, and with nuance to it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were hoping that this game, if say you were an Xbox guy and you, the only thing that stopped you from trying out this game was that it was on PlayStation and it's now coming to Xbox, and it's going to be coming out in a couple months, and like I said, $39.99, and you get New Game Plus and DLC included. Mm-hmm. You really can't go wrong.
I see. Oh yeah, definitely.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I just want to say though, is just that if the lady is coming to Xbox, which obviously it is at this rate, yeah, I will get a copy of it myself and play the recording with you guys with it. See how good it is. Other than that,
right.
We'll hope for the best and. So you're not gonna mess this one up with the other time exclusives ever. So.
Right. Okay. So ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Next. Metal Slug Tactics reemerges with a new trailer and fall release window. It's been a while since we last got an update on Metal Slug Tactics, a turn-based strategy spin-off of the popular side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. The game was first announced during the online-only E3 2021 and has suffered a few delays since then with minimal updates. After a long wait, the game has finally re-emerged with a new trailer and a fall 2024 launch window. The new video shows off the game's spin-on tactics, with longtime stars Mako, Iwi, Flo, and Tama taking literal turns obliterating the opposition. The game sees players building squads of classic Metal Slug characters, each with unique loadouts of recognizable series weapons to take on signature villains and bosses like the warship in the video. Metal Slug Tactics is developed by Likier Studio and is published by Dotemu, the team behind TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Flame's composer T. Lopes from Shredder's Revenge and Sonic Mania is developing the game's soundtrack. When first revealed, Metal Slug Tactics was only slated to launch for Switch and PC. Today's trailer confirms it's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, and Xbox One. So, comments. Zangmaster goes, yeah, this game looks like a blast. We'll definitely be picking this up when it drops. Ben T goes, this looks similar to Into the Breach, which rules. Joker Force 09 goes, thanks for covering a tactics game. I appreciate it. Now, where's our review for Crown Wars: The Black Prince? Just came out on Xbox about a week ago. Never did see a review for What Else. Feels like a lot of slipping through the cracks. And Smack goes, always wanted to play more of this series, and this looks pretty neat. I've only played through 1 or 2 of them. Have you seen the trailer, or do you want me to play the trailer?
I seen the gameplay trailer of Metal Slug Tactics. I thought it was like a typical run-and-gun shooter, like those previous titles over the last 1990s and the 2000s and all. Because our former friend Kevin and I, we played a lot of that when I bought the Metal Slug. It was like a 15th anniversary sale or a 15th anniversary edition of the game, and it had the first 6 Metal Slugs that I bought. So we played that for a while. Yeah, and it was good. Good experience. But this Metal Slug Tactics is kind of like one of those turn-based style
strategy games. Yeah.
So I was not expecting that. So it's going to be a slow-paced type of game. It's not going to be all that razzle-dazzle, run-and-gun, endless shooting. So it's going to be a different pace, a different perspective of the Metal Slug franchise as a whole. And speaking of Metal Slug franchise, for years now, since it was the 2000s, if not the late 2000s, there was supposed to have a movie coming out prior to this release as well. So it was kind of weird that it was based on a video game interview in the in-game Metal Slug Anniversary Edition, or if I remember correctly, the game itself. Yes. excuse me, guys, because the game itself back in 2000s on the PS2 had an interview log. It showed that we as at this creator of Metal Slug games, we want to always make a movie out of this series, but we just don't have the proper funding or something of that sort. It's either the funding or the proper script for it, because they want to make this as early as 2010, 2011. So it's been like 10 years later now. What's going on with the movie? So.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Metal Slug. Like Doctor Games 101 said, is because I played, I think, one game with you.
Yes.
The
first one
when I lived in New York. So yeah, it was run and gun, just run and mow everyone down with your gun till you complete the level. Then rinse and repeat until the end. So it's kind of weird that this is going to be tactic based, and I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan of strategy games. I said it before, I'll say it again. Yes, I had played Valkyria Chronicles 4. That's a different. That's one. It was a strategy game I didn't expect to like until I actually played it, and I was like, "Whoa, this I can get behind. This I want to see more of." But that aside, I really don't have the connection with the characters from Metal Slug. I really couldn't name any of them off the top of my head.
Right.
So it's like I just don't. Between that and between it being a strategy game, which is usually not the kind of games I play, I really don't see myself playing this one unless the gameplay wins me over. That's the only way I could see me getting involved, wanting to play this game, is if I see gameplay from someone else, and then Valkyria Chronicles 4 happens all over again, where I see gameplay, I'm like, oh, this isn't tough to figure out. This isn't tough to play. This isn't boring like most strategy games that I find boring. I do want to try this. So that's the only way I see myself playing this game.
Okay. And speaking of Metal Slug Tactics, it's had a similar event going on with the Gears of War Tactics back in 2 or 3, 4 years ago, when they came out with that similar style type of turn-based tactical, or not RTS, but tactical turn-based of gameplay. And so that was a turnaround with that game as well, for Gears of War specifically. So they're trying to do this with Metal Slug now. And let's see what happens after the release to see how people are going to react. Not the average, but the hardcore players who have been behind Metal Slug since the very beginning. I myself been involved with the game since as early as 8, 9, 10 years old of Metal Slug, and I'm 36, so I'm like a follower of the franchise person myself. So it's going to be interesting to see how good this game is going to be in tactics, So.
Right. Yeah, like I said, this game could win me over. It just depends, how complicated the strategic part is,
It shouldn't be too hard. I mean, of course, yes, based on the previous article we did back in the previous podcast where the gamers are not focused too much on RTS and strategy-related games anymore, or as much, because of the dumbing down of the culture and all. That's what it was. The article was given to telling us. So it could just be a good resurrection, reinvigoration of the RTS turn-based style gameplay again, and see where it takes us. Because you got to keep advertising and marketing it to people and make it interesting. And also make people to read the books, if ever, read books, do other activities other than just, interactive FPS gaming, So.
Right. Okay. Ready to move on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Next. GTA Online's next update will add police missions and bounty hunting. It seems Rockstar is taking a page from role players and adding some law enforcement content. Grand Theft Auto Online's next big summer update arrives in June and will add new bounty hunting and police missions to Rockstar's massively popular crime simulator. Also coming in the future update, new props and modes for the in-game content creator and some more quality of life improvements too. GTA Online might be over a decade old at this point, but it's still making Rockstar and its parent company Take-Two Interactive boatloads of money every month. So the online crime MMO continues to receive updates, even as we get closer and closer to GTA 6's fall 2025 launch. This time around, GTA Online's next update will seemingly take a page from GTA role players and add some law enforcement and bounty hunting action to the mix. As announced by Rockstar Games on June 5th, GTA Online's next big free update will let players open their very own bail enforcement and bounty hunting business in San Andreas. In an image shared by Rockstar announcing the update, it appears that players will also get some new bounty hunter cosmetics featuring a badge and armor vest. This update will also add new police dispatch missions from Vincent, a character first seen in the casino update. He apparently needs some help enforcing his authority without official oversight. So it sounds like these Los Santos-based police missions, which will utilize a souped-up police cruiser, might not be officially sanctioned police business. That's probably for the best, considering all of our GTA Online characters have extremely long criminal records, new content creative features, and much more. Besides the police and bounty hunter missions being added to the game, this month's upcoming update will also add the ability to make drift and drag races in GTA Online's content creator tool. Rockstar is also adding new tools and props to the creator, as well as help folks make even wilder and cooler events. As is expected with the new GTA Online update, Rockstar is also promising new cars will be added to the game. On top of all that, here are some quality of life changes that Rockstar will be implementing in the update. Payouts will be increased on a number of existing modes and missions, including taxi work, open wheel races, many contact missions, and Operation Paper Trail. Rockstar is increasing the amount of time you get in biker and gun running cell missions to help make it easier for solo players. That's nice. Snacks, which give you health, will now automatically replenish when launching most missions. The Sparrow helicopter and bomb Ushaka airplane will have their armor buff too. Rockstar says these are just some of the changes that will be implemented in the future update. While this upcoming GTA Online patch might not be the biggest one the game has ever received, it still sounds like it could be fun, especially for all the aspiring vigilantes out there. And it's nice to see the game confirming, even as we get closer, even as we get closer and closer to the release of GTA 6, aka the only game that could possibly topple GTA Online's success. GTA Online's next big update will be out later this month on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So, what do you think of this new update on GTA Online?
If I recall correctly, most after since GTA 3 and beyond, they're supposed to have a police missions built into the game itself. Into those who are been long-time GTA followers as well as gamers. For instance, when I played GTA 3 for the first time, and if you entered a police car in the game prior to any missions or any missions at all to begin with, you start a police mission system, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, you had to hit the R3 button first.
Yeah, you press the R3 button and it starts missions, and you take down criminals with your pistol or machine gun, whoever becomes more fashionable with you. You can run them over, things that matter, but in the process, you're going to be chased down by the police if you kill some people in the streets. So it's kind of like Catch-22. But after GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas, I don't know if they put built-in police missions in GTA 4 and 5. So that was new to me. I thought there's already been like this, and I never thought of coming across it. So
Well, keep in mind, like you just said, GTA 3 wasn't really police work. It was more vigilante type. So,
okay.
This is where you can actually arrest people or bring them in, and that's what's different here.
Okay.
But also, I don't even remember police. I probably didn't play them, but so I don't remember if they existed. I don't remember police missions since GTA 3.
Yeah, definitely.
So, were they in Vice City and San Andreas?
Must be Vice City. I think I played one time the police missions in Vice City, but after I got bored of it. So, because I played it before GTA 3, like any other time. So, but right now it's like that's something new to me that they didn't put that in from the start. So it kind of misses out the opportunity for most younger players or any newer players to begin with to play police vigilante missions. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, and it got harder the more The one thing that sucked about the vigilante missions in Grand Theft Auto 3 was you couldn't leave that car for that long.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you could, it was best to kill the criminal you were after by like running them over if possible. Because like you could only leave the car for like 30 seconds, and if the car caught on fire, you were screwed. But I did play that. I did play the taxi missions in Grand Theft Auto 3 because I screwed up the first time I got to the end when you have to pay Catalina, I think, like $5 million if you want to get Maria back. And then, like, I failed the mission. I didn't get that money back, so I had $2.5 million. So I had to do taxi missions for like a couple hours to get $5 million again. And then I had saved my game so I could just reload it if I died or failed the final mission and final story mission in Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, I remember that. I already got the money last time, a couple of times over. The first couple of times I played that missions. So
yeah, but like I said, the very first time I played it, I failed, and then I was like, oh shoot, I don't have the money to attempt this mission again. So I just got a taxi and started doing taxi missions until I had the money again.
Did you spend a lot of money on weapons and other equipment by any chance?
Not really. I just got what I knew I would need.
Oh,
I think I didn't have a rocket launcher at first. And if you remember the final mission in GTA 3, that like the helicopter takes off, but it like doesn't really go anywhere; it just circles around.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have a rocket launcher. I think that's why I failed it. So like the second time, I had enough money to pay the fines or ransom, so I can attempt the mission. I had a rocket launcher, I think, from that one-armed guy that you help out. Because like you had the lockers, and he said like just leave the money just take what you need and leave the money in the locker.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, and I think that's it. And like I obviously had ammo for like guns for enemies that were on the ground, but I didn't go there like I didn't go with everything maxed out like Rambo or anything.
Yeah, but here's what I did. But with that mission, prior to the mission, I keep saving every mission every time I beat the game. So if I fail, I load the save. Every time I beat the mission, I save my equipment, my weapons, everything prior to the next mission. That's what I did for years, ever since. So
yeah, I never did that. I was more of like I'm not done playing it. I don't got anything else to do. Might as well just do the next mission while I save.
Okay.
But like I said, it didn't work out for me in the end. That's what made me have to do so many taxi missions. But yeah, so anyway, back to the vigilante police missions, bounty hunting missions. They're coming in GTA Online, and I do think it is awesome that Rockstar and Take-Two are still supporting this game with GTA 6 supposed to be like, what, a year and a half away?
Yep.
So this new update will be, if it's not out already, it should be out sometime this month, because we are in the middle of June. So
perfect time for summer gaming.
Yep. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on.
All right. Next. A new report details how a troubled development led to Suicide Squad kill the Justice League's $200 million flop. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the live service multiplayer game from famed Batman Arkham series developer Rocksteady Studios, hit PS5, Xbox Series, and PC back in February to middling reviews and disappointment from players. Now a new report from Bloomberg details the game's behind-the-scenes troubles, including a culture of toxic positivity, shifting visions, and more, ultimately resulting in the game being a $200 million loss for parent company Warner Bros. Discovery. Bloomberg reports that following the release of DC's Suicide Squad in 2016, which made $750 million at the box office on a budget of $175 million, Warner Bros. Wanted to build to that IP's success. Warner Bros. Montreal, which developed 2022's Gotham Knights, was working on a Suicide Squad game that Bloomberg says was struggling to come together. Notably, Warner Bros. Montreal's 2013 game, Batman Arkham Origins, ended with a tease about an in-universe Suicide Squad. As a result, Warner Brothers looked to Rocksteady to capitalize on the Suicide Squad name instead. At the time, following the 2015 release of Batman: Arkham Knight, studio co-founders Jamie Walker and Senton Hill were working on a prototype of an original multiplayer puzzle-solving game codenamed Stones. Bloomberg writes, but around the end of 2016, Walker and Hill told Rocksteady staff they were switching gears to develop a Suicide Squad game with plans to release it in 2019 or 2020. This game would be a live service multiplayer title or game as a service, as titles in the genre are sometimes referred to, aiming to capture the seasonal excitement and money of games like Destiny 2, Fortnite, and others. With no experience in multiplayer games, Rocksteady's staff ballooned from roughly 160 employees to more than 250, according to Bloomberg. As the team developed Suicide Squad, employees under Walker and Hill questioned decisions like making Captain Boomerang one of the 4 playable characters who traditionally fights with a boomerang in comics, a shotgun user, or attempting to add a vehicle system in a game where each of the 4 players already has their own unique traversal system to get around Metropolis. Rocksteady revealed Suicide Squad in 2020 with a 2022 release year, and in an effort to hit this deadline, Bloomberg reports engineers focused on short-term fixes that actually became hindrances as the game's release was eventually delayed to 2024. Elsewhere in the studio, employees waited weeks or months for Hill to review their work, slowing overall development. Hill scrapped large parts of the script and struggled to convey his ideas, according to Bloomberg, and the studio grew into a culture of toxic positivity where employees felt criticism was discouraged. Throughout the game's troubled development, leadership reportedly showed no signs of worry about the game's live service multiplayer ambitions, even as others in the genre struggled to find success. Even Rocksteady fans felt worried about the game, and from seeing trailers and gameplay previews, then years into development, Walker and Hill left Rocksteady to form 100-Star Games, further putting into question Suicide Squad's future. In early February of this year, Suicide Squad finally hit PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC, and the tea leaves were almost immediately clear. The game was a disappointment. Though Rocksteady is still supporting it today with updates, like adding a playable Joker character, the conversation around the game has shifted to fans of the studio wondering if Warner Brothers will lay off employees there to cut costs. Bloomberg reports, however, that during a Warner Brothers Games meeting in February, Warner Brothers Discovery head of games David Haddad and job cuts at Rocksteady wouldn't make sense as the company's gaming division is already understaffed. According to Bloomberg, many of Rocksteady's employees are helping to develop a director's cut of the 2023 Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy, the best-selling game of the year. The studio is also working to pitch a new single-player game. Okay, so comments. RMES3 or RME33 goes, in an ideal world, the lesson they would take from this is don't force single-player studios to make live service games. In this world, though, they'll just gut the studio to save the shareholders' profits and continue chasing that live service money. John Leonard goes, 2 very simple steps to follow to put you on the path to video game success. 1. Don't implement a live service with battle passes, microtransactions, and daily goals. 2. Don't work with consultant companies like Sweet Baby Inc. and Hit Detection. Nate Peterson goes, must not have read the article because Sweet Baby isn't the reason for the game's failure. Oh, I'm sure they played a big part. So, what do you think of that? The story behind Suicide Squad's development?
It was of no surprise, but by the time when the gamers that were initially excited to pre-order and to buy the Suicide Squad, especially the early day access, it was a sign that it would just flop, if not be decimated like the other games like Halo Master Chief Collection or what's the other game? Other games like that, Anthem, things that matter. So it was inevitable. I was giving it some high hopes to some degree when I saw the trailer for the first time. I was like, okay, trying to follow that story with the movies and stuff like that, especially the reboot of the movie Suicide Squad back in 2019, 2018, give or take. Not the one from 2016, I think it's like 2020, 21, 21. So
Yeah,
you know,
it was 2020 or 2021 because we watched the trailer on this podcast.
oh yeah, definitely, oh yeah, and the movie though from 2016 was pretty good. They hit the nail on the head on that one. I mean, it'd be the best movie ever, obviously, but it's part of the Batman DC universe, type of movies. I was going to reboot that DC universe sometime in the next year or two. So this must be going to be the last set of games related to the DC universe. That's when they had killed the Justice League and all, especially Batman and Superman. It was fucked up on their end to do that though, because it was a disrespect to the franchise that's been around since 1930s, 1940s. So
Right.
whoever came up with this
Well,
idea to kill off the Justice League, I think that's an insult.
well, I thought it was an interesting premise because if you remember the trailer that we saw
Yeah.
on the podcast, the Superman that you saw at the end of the trailer, when I forgot what villain asked Harley Quinn, "What did I miss?" And Harley Quinn points to Superman in the air, and he's got the laser eyes, and he looks like the evil Superman from the Injustice series. I thought, okay, Suicide Squad, who's usually bad, but they're good in this situation because they're fighting the superheroes from the Injustice universe who became villains in that series, except for Batman, and and then in Injustice 2, Batman can turn evil if you want him to, and he sides with Superman instead of instead of standing against him if you want. So it's I thought they were kind of blurring the line. Who's usually bad is good because the superheroes they're fighting have become more like supervillains. And I thought that's how the Suicide Squad game was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
that's not what they did.
right. Yeah, Injustice got among us. That was a good game. I played the first hour or so. People say it was one of the best games of the Xbox 360 at its time, and it was breathtaking for a while, But and then all of a sudden, they followed up with Suicide Squad years later. Obviously, designed from the same exact game studios, from the same exact game company, but still, it's like they try to connect the dots to all the DC universe, Marvel Cinematic Universes, movies and games and TV shows. So it was worth it at first to see that the trailer and all, but the one that came out was just crap. It was just like they screwed it up. They insulted Superman to some degree, especially Batman of all characters too. So I saw the scene of it on YouTube through an Angry Joe show, if I remember correctly, or at least know what they explained in the matter. That look into the trailer or the gameplay of or at least the scenes of the scene recordings, wherever it was from these random YouTubers. So, yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, most from what I heard the only superhero that got a respectable death was Wonder Woman. What a surprise, a woman.
Yeah.
But like Batman, like you said, Batman's death was not only disrespectful but insulting. And a lot that could also be said about a lot of other deaths to the male superheroes. So yeah, it's like I said, they basically they everything they did with this game they shouldn't have done it, and basically they should not just be chasing the live service because, like I said, you can make a game, and I mean, if it's fun, like I said, you can always do more DLC. You can do cosmetic options if you want. And people are more likely to buy them if the game's fun. But people are not going to buy the game if it's a pile of crap. And like I said, I remember when we watched the trailer in February of the and we heard that it was going to be live service. I remember saying this game is going to fail. I had no idea it was going to fail. I had no idea it was going to fail as quickly as it did.
Yeah.
But I do remember saying on this podcast when we read that it was going to be live service, yep, this game's going to fail.
If it was,
it's funny. I was thinking about this game, and it's almost like Marvel's Avengers. Whoever made Marvel's Avengers should be thanking Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, like on a daily basis, because Marvel's Avengers looked like it was going to be the biggest disappointment in recent games history, and then it's like WB saw that and WB's like, hold my beer. We can do worse.
Yeah. All that beer, indeed.
And they did. So like it's kind of like Marvel's Avengers was bad, but it's like no one's ever going to complain about that because it's always going to resort now to Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League being the worst live service game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I wonder if the people who so it's like whoever made Marvel's Avengers just got their reputation spared. I mean, thanks to this flop.
Oh yeah.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Yeah, we can move on now. Rest in peace, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
I'm sure we'll reanimate it again to make more fun of it.
Yes.
It's kind of taken the place of Sims 4 recently. Okay, so I do. I don't know. I thought, did Summer Games Fest already happen?
Yeah, it already did. The Summer Games Fest and then Sony's Fest.
State of Play.
Yeah, State of Play. That was over. I think just to watch it, though. Not yet.
Okay. So. Alright, so Borderlands 4 said might not be announced at Summer Games Fest after all. I'll read the original article, then I'll read the update. Mm-hmm. The original story is below. The next entry in the Borderlands series is reportedly being revealed soon. According to Xputer, 2K is set to reveal Borderlands 4 at Summer Games Fest a week ago. There's also a possibility that could be announced before the show, followed by a more in-depth look at the showcase, but it hasn't been confirmed. Earlier this month, 2K announced that it would be unveiling the next iteration of a 2K Games franchise, and fans speculated that it would be Borderlands 4. There have been several rumors that the game has been in development for a while. Borderlands 4 and Tiny Tina's Wonderland 2 leaked late last year, though a game developer's LinkedIn profile. A voice actor also placed Borderlands 4 on their resume, but Gearbox clarified that it was a misunderstanding. There's also a Borderlands movie currently in the works that's slated to release in August, and filming both the movie and game series close to each other is a common strategy for brand awareness. Earlier this year, Gearbox was acquired by 2K's parent company Take-Two Interactive. Gearbox was previously under ownership of Embracer Group, which has since been downsizing and cutting games after its reported failed deal with a Saudi investment fund. So now go to the update. The writer of the story, Kurt Cases, has walked back some of their reporting on Borderlands 4. The report now says it's no longer a given that Borderlands 4 will be announced at Summer Game Fest. Quote, I wasn't able to verify this information to a satisfactory degree, but still requested its publication. The information I received this week may suggest that Borderlands 4 could be announced soon, but I'm not sure anymore if it will happen at Summer Games Fest, they said. I made a mistake and apologize to Xputer, which trusted me based on the accuracy of my previous leaks. To Xputer's readers and to everyone who came across this news, I believe it was important to clarify the situation ahead of time so readers are not misled, end quote. Okay, so to get comments, there is one. Hardwinson goes, with the absolute worst writing we've seen in 13 pounds and zero evolutions of the series, I don't think Gearbox has it takes to create what Borderlands is supposed to be. Okay, so my question to you, do you want to see a Borderlands 4?
I was not expecting to get Borderlands 4 so soon. Hell, I even just beat Borderlands 1 when it came out for the on sale for the Xbox store back in 2016, 2017, give or take, when it was on sale at the time for me. Plus, also, I bought the Pandora's edition, where it includes all the first 3 Borderlands and all of its DLCs and expansions. Now, plus,
wow.
I got that for about $65, $70 was on sale. And that's a sale, by the way. The average price of it was about $200, $250 or $225, give or take. Depends on what part of the country, of the world you're in. If it's in Canada, you'll be looking at over $200. If you're in the United States, it's going to be around $175, $200. So, but other than that, Borderlands themselves, I mean, I'm not really a big Borderlands fan or Borderlands gamer in a hardcore sense, but I'll play whenever I can. But it's a little too soon. People are still focusing on Borderlands 3, trying to beat get those achievements and challenges and DLC and stuff. Hell, I think people are still playing Tiny Tina Wonderlands games still to this day. So that came out back 3 years ago, 4 years now, 4 years
something
ago.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, And not to mention, there's other games coming out this year too, other than Borderlands, other than other games too. So it's kind of like you don't want to flood the market with too many games at the same time, where there's like we know eyeballs on each of them very well. So that's how I look at it. Because when I saw the Summer Games Fest by itself back earlier this week, it was like, wow, all these games coming out for this year, next year, we're gonna be occupied for the next few months. So, well, it's for us kind of like wait until like another year and a half from now, maybe you can release it by then, not this year. So that's how I look at it. Plus, also, it confirmed the matter with the article. What the article says, it wasn't that Summer Games Fest. The trailers of Borderlands 4. Right. So let's hold up for Borderlands 4 until the winter, if not next spring. So.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I never beat any of the Borderlands. I do have Borderlands 1 digitally, I think, on Xbox. But because I think I did get it with Games with Gold, but I didn't see it in my Xbox collection. So, yeah, like I did have it, but the game wouldn't save. So like when I kept dying, it kept putting me back to somewhere. Like I ended up being transported to some outpost, and then it's like I died so many times and got placed there, even though I saved after that outpost, that I was starting to get stronger. The enemies that had presented a problem, I was just mowing through because I kept getting, because even though my progress wasn't saved, my XP was being saved.
That's good.
But it was weird. Because it's like how can it save your XP and not save your progress? So anyway, yeah. So I mean that's the farthest I've gotten in Borderlands. I did play Borderlands 3 until I haven't really touched it in a long time. I've had Borderlands 3 for Xbox One. I haven't touched it in months since I stopped playing games online. So there is that. So I mean, while Borderlands sounds cool, I just don't see myself playing it again. So whether if they want to end Borderlands and just leave it at the trilogy, they can do that. But I just don't have the same excitement for 4 that I had for previous entries.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to see a Borderlands movie?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But eventually, I have to first play the games before I see the movie. At least the first 3 ones. Then after that, it's like whatever. So if they come with Borderlands 5 as well, the next 3 to 5 years from now, so be it. Let the movie come out, let's say like a year and a half, 2 years from now, and then take it from there. There's rumors about making a movie of Borderlands for a while now too. So they do it by next 2025, 2026. Hopefully.
Right. Well, I mean, they made the Fallout TV series. That was people loved it from what that saw it. I think Borderlands would be easier. You're basically searching for treasure and like bandits and different characters, basically getting your way. I mean, it almost writes itself. I hate to say, but
something like Mad Max, but totally different.
Mad Max, but like you're trying to get treasure, but you're like a treasure hunter, so you're not exactly, an up and up citizen yourself.
Yeah.
And heck, and do it like in all 4 players. Like take the first 4 characters from this from the series and make them all, search for treasure together, and then you can do what you want. It's just ideas, but I think it would be interesting. But there's got to be a lot of action in it.
Definitely.
That's what I think. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I just want to say though that if they are going to go with the Borderlands movie, make sure to put it into 3 different a trilogy. So that way, the first Borderlands movie could be based on Borderlands 1 and 2, and then Borderlands 2 and 3, the movies can be not randomized, but try to build another alternative story behind that. Because you know how it is with most gaming movies that they come up for the last 20 years, those are alternate the story mode of sorts. So I willing for them to do that, but not totally. You know what I'm saying? So try to keep it within the confines of the lore of the Borderlands, the original Borderlands, and then if you want to expand it, so be it. That's how I look at it.
Okay. All right. So ready to move on?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
There we go.
Microsoft confirms Xbox Game Pass June 2024 Wave 1 lineup. Octopath Traveler, the Callisto Protocol, and more. Microsoft has confirmed the first wave of games coming to Xbox Game Pass in June 2024. Highlights include today's surprise shadow drop of Square Enix's Octopath Traveler series, the Collision Protocol, and Still Wakes the Deep. First up are the aforementioned Octopath Traveler and Octopath Traveler 2. Octopath Traveler, coming to Cloud Console and PC, returns to the Game Pass library today, June 6, whereas Octopath Traveler 2 for Cloud and PC and Xbox Series launches on Xbox and Game Pass for the first time, having released on other platforms last year alongside a new update. IGN Octopath Traveler review returned a 9.3. We said Octopath Traveler beautiful style and outstanding take on traditional turn-based combat make it a game that pushes JRPGs forward rather than simply paying homage to the greats. IGN's Octopath Traveler 2 review scored a 7. Octopath Traveler 2 is a very enjoyable JRPG sequel that feels a little too safe and familiar, we said. Moving on, Depersonalization for the PC hits Game Pass on June 12th. It's a tabletop role-playing game inspired by Call of Cthulhu, with rich branching narratives. Then on June 13th, Isanzo for Cloud Console and PC is added to Game Pass. This authentic World War I first-person shooter is set on the Italian front. IGN's Isanzo review returned to 7 out of 10. We said Isanzo is a well-made shooter that welcomes all comers to its gorgeous, mountainous World War I multiplayer battlefields, though a lot of that approachability and familiarity comes in at the cost of period authenticity and distinctive gameplay. Then on June 13th, the Callisto Protocol for Cloud Console and PC arrives on Game Pass. The Dead Space spiritual successor launched in December 2022, receiving a 7 out of 10 for IGN's review. We said the Callisto Protocol is a satisfyingly gory spiritual successor to the Dead Space series, but it's ultimately more of a striking modern mimic than a scary new mutation. And finally, Still Wakes the Deep for Cloud, PC, and Xbox Series rounds out Wave 1 on June 18th as a Day 1 Game Pass launch. This horror game from the studio behind Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is set on an oil rig off the coast of Scotland. So that's Octopath and Octopath Traveler 2. Octopath Traveler came out for Cloud Console and PC. Octopath Traveler 2 came out for Cloud, PC, and Xbox Series on June 6th. Depersonalization exclusive for the PC came out on the 12th. Isanzo for Cloud Console and PC came out on the 13th. The Callisto Protocol for Cloud Console and PC also came out on the 13th. And Still Wakes the Deep, available on Cloud, PC, and Xbox Series for June 18th. Microsoft is set to host an Xbox showcase on June 9th, which is expected to fully unveil Call of Duty Black Ops 6, among a number of other upcoming games. Perhaps more Game Pass releases will be revealed there too. The games that left Game Pass today are Bramble, the Mountain King. These were all Cloud Console and PC. High on Life, Moon's Factory 4 Special, Space Lines from the Far Out, and The Bookwalker. As always, you can use your Game Pass membership to save up to 20% off your purchases to keep these games in your library. Let's get some comments. Let's see. Conflicts goes, every wave in the Game Pass ocean has me riding high and never sitting idle waiting for something to play. A great first wave this month. I started Octopath Traveler 1 last time, and it was on Game Pass, but I didn't finish it, so I'll be picking that back up. I'm also trying to get through High on Life, Bramble, and The Bookwalker. I finished High on Life yesterday and started Bookwalker, so I'm on track to finish all three. Last wave's batch leaving, I completed Chicory, which was a very unique game. Boogie B0423 goes side Game Pass. June is Elden Ring month. And Dunker goes, not sure why I thought it's a good idea to start a new Witcher 3 playthrough right now after a few years. Still the best game ever. So, do you care about any of these games that's coming to Game Pass?
The ones that leave the Game Pass, High Life, that kind of a disappointment because I always want to play more of that while smoking some weed. So.
Okay.
I actually did on screen. Actually, I was not told, but I tried to play the mimic of the game, say High on Life. So I was high for a moment to play that game a couple of times. Unfortunately, I got stuck in that game with some sort of puzzle or some sort of procedure I had to do in the blue side. It was like a red side and a blue side. And I chose the blue side last time I checked. It was one of those type of components of the game, whatever. If I remember correctly, it was definitely one side, the other side. I chose the left side. So the other world is called. So other than that, other games like Octopath Traveler, I've always wanted to play Octopath Traveler. I saw gameplay of it, the trailer and all. It looked good. Enorn Chronicles, I think it's still part of the Game Pass. So I played that, the prequel of it, the 100 character model, or 100 character edition. That one I played for an hour or so. That was pretty good. Let's see, I also played, Octopath Traveler 2, obviously the sequel, so I can't say much about it. But yeah, the other games, of course, yeah, why not play the other games as well, if it's still on the Game Pass. So yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I never played any of these games that are coming or leaving. But it does sound like a good. I mean, you got almost basically anything you could want. You got a couple JRPGs in the Octopath Traveler series. You got that war game shooter that's like World War One that takes place map from World War One. That sounds like it's a shooter, even if it's a little basic
Yeah.
or a little familiar with other shooters out there. Callisto Protocol, they said that's the successor to Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot coming, and I think like with the exception of Still Wakes the Deep, all these games are already out on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Still Wakes the Deep comes out in 3 days. So um, yeah. So if it does sound like there's a lot coming.
Yeah.
I can't comment on any of the games that played because, like I said, I still haven't renewed my Game Pass subscription and don't plan to. Um, but like I said, what's coming does sound good. I can at least say that. Anything else, Dad, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Next. Five Mega Man Game Boy titles added to Nintendo Switch Online. Given Mega Man's enormous presence on classic Nintendo consoles, it's surprising that the only game available on the Nintendo Switch Online libraries has been Mega Man The Wily Wars for Sega Genesis. That has been remedied somewhat thanks to the addition of five Game Boy titles starring the Blue Bomber. Right now, Switch Online subscribers can enjoy the following Game Boy titles: Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 2, 3, 4, and 5, all the Game Boy, but all these are the Game Boy titles. For those unaware, the Game Boy series of Mega Man aren't just ports of their NES counterparts. Rather, they are separate series of original games and are differentiated by the title's use of Roman numerals instead of numbers. You can more or less think of them as Mega Man's versions of the Super Mario Land series, and while they feature their own plots, levels, and bosses, they incorporate some mechanics and enemies from the NES entries. While these aren't the original NES game fans likely would hope for, it's cool to have the lesser-known Game Boy titles accessible on modern hardware. You can stay updated on the Switch Online's retro offerings by visiting a complete database of available games. So let me go to comments. So let's see. RME33 goes, the first four may be only good remedies, but 5 is totally unique and worth revisiting. Zach Freeland goes, why would they choose the crappy Game Boy versions instead of the NES ones? And YDWYD goes, because Capcom probably said no to giving away a chunk of the Legacy Collection through Switch Online, but we're okay with the Game Boy games instead. Have you ever played any of the Mega Man games for Game Boy?
Never. I've heard of there's just a couple Game Boy games for Mega Man, but never got a chance to get them. I never thought about going after them like that. Although I did have a Nintendo system, the original Nintendo system from the 1980s. I got that. I got the system still for that. And my father and I played that till his death. I played Mario and all, but we never got to get another game like Mega Man or Alvin and Chipmunks, those other games back then. So no.
Were there Alvin and the Chipmunk games on Nintendo?
It was either Alvin and the Chipmunks, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of those type of games I played at my friend's house when Nintendo was relevant.
Okay.
But I don't remember.
It might have been Ninja Turtles. I don't remember an Alvin and Chipmunks game.
Yeah, it's such a long time. Like, there was actual one game, either on the Super Nintendo, or some variation of these systems on their systems. So back then, though. So.
Okay. I did play Mega Man on Game Boy. I forget which one it was. This is back when I had my other laptop that just died on me.
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago. But like I had like a bunch of different emulators on there. I had a bunch of ROMs on there. And that's how I played Mega Man on the Game Boy. I forget which one it was. I did beat like 2 bosses on stream in one night. So because what I do when I play and when I know I'm going to play any Mega Man game, I get the order of what boss to beat in what order before I set out. Otherwise, I'll never figure it out myself. So like I said, I forget which one. I might have been Mega Man 2, but I can't be sure. I just know I played one Game Boy game. There were 4 bosses, and it was a Game Boy game. And I beat 2 in one night. I originally planned to get back to it, never did. But yeah, I mean, the Game Boy games are basically, they do have different bosses. So it's not just a rehashed travel version of the NES games. You do see some unique bosses there, but also you're not going to see as many bosses in one Game Boy game as you saw like in NES or SNES game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So but like I said, the Game Boy games I played. That's one Mega Man game I played, and it's and they're fun. If you like Mega Man, you're gonna have fun with the Game Boy games.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Next. New Harry Potter Quidditch video game is coming in September. During Summer Game Fest, a new Harry Potter game was revealed, but it's not related to Hogwarts Legacy. The game focuses on the in-universe sport Quidditch and is called Harry Potter Quidditch Championships. The game has a light, cartoony style, especially compared to Hogwarts Legacy. This isn't the first Quidditch-focused game. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup released in 2003.
Wow. For
more on Harry Potter video game, you can read a review of Hogwarts Legacy here. So that was it. Let's see. Tim Strandzon, he typed a bunch of periods, and then he goes, no. RME33 goes, but I don't want to read your Hogwarts review. And Wobble U goes, I think there's only 2 options for cover athletes for Quidditch 25. And honestly, I have no idea who these people are. So, the second one's Harry Potter. I have no idea who this first guy is. So, what would you want to play Harry Potter Quidditch game?
I mean, it's for kids, but mainly for those type of games, especially with Harry Potter back when we were kids, of course, with the first 2, the Sorcerer's Stone and and what's called the Snake Pit or some shit like this, and for the second one. I'm sorry, guys, it's been a while since I catch up on Harry Potter lore, and that's where we were kids. Of course, yeah, as they were growing up, I said, say they're making these sequels, of course, but I kind of lost track after the Prisoner of Azkaban or some shit like that you say. I
yeah.
How to pronounce it. That's how far back we're going with the staying up to date with Harry Potter. But I was surprised that there was actual game based on the Quidditch games back in 2003.
Yeah.
I know there was Harry Potter movies and games, of course, but not like that specific sport,
Yeah.
So it's I'm willing to play it if it's at a reasonable price, because obviously that's all it is, just the Quidditch game. If it was a sequel to the Hogwarts Legacy, and if it was more of a Quidditch game, more multiplayer, online multiplayer, whatever, by all means, let's try it out, So.
I played Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup for PlayStation 2 in 2003 or whatever year it was for about 5 minutes. That's the only time I played it. Like I said, if you're really a big fan of Harry Potter, you might like it. But like, I hope they're not planning on charging $60 or $70 for this Quidditch game.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Maybe $40 at best. That's about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So that, like I said, I guess at least they're not decimating the legacy of Hogwarts Legacy, at least right now. Because if it's Rocksteady and WB doing this, then I have no faith in them right now. Based on Suicide Squad.
And then we'll hear more about the transgender rights being violated because of J.K. Rowling and all kinds of new Harry Potter game. So be prepared for
that. Well, Snowflake's crying. I mean, come on. If like I said, it's just noise at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, in California, they're saying street signs are racist, and it's like when you get this ridiculous, you learn to not listen to these people. We just need more people to learn not to listen to these idiots.
Spiritually ignoring them at this rate.
Well, they didn't say street signs are racist. They said they're homophobic, but
yes,
please.
Of course.
But please.
I saw that earlier today too about that matter, the street signs and with the lesbians and LGBT movements, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. These people, yeah. So I mean, again, like I said,
I might as well say the stop sign.
If you needed more evidence to not listen to these people, that should be enough evidence.
Yeah. I might as well say the stop sign is racist too, and I'm black, so.
Just get rid of all street signs. Why not? New York's already. Well, this was, I think, in California. California's a hellhole.
Yes.
I mean, why not just get rid of all street signs at this point?
Yeah, depicted as a hellhole in that movie Demolition Man. It was all chaotic and shit in those scenes of L.A. That's L.A. for you right now.
Oh yeah, but Demolition Man was a movie from the 90s. I mean,
they predicted it well.
Yeah, and too well, unfortunately. Instead of sign of what it could be, it became a symbol of what would happen. But yeah. So anyway, back to people who actually have two brain cells to rub together.
Yeah.
This, like I said, this Quidditch game, I didn't really enjoy it when I played the first one that came out on PS2. So I really, unless this game is very, very, very cheap, I'm not really going to be interested unless it blows, unless it blows players' socks off. I mean, like I said, it's going to have to really perform really well and do things that no one was expecting in a good way to even get my attention.
Oh yeah.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on now.
All right. And by the way, I do want to say, with California removing street signs, I wonder how long before New York follows suit.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it the next few months. That's why I get the fuck out of New York.
Yeah, escape from New York.
Yeah. I'll record everything. I'll be like Scott the Waz style,
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero arrives in October. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the next game in the Budokai Tenkaichi series, officially has a release date. The game will be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC on October 11th. A premium collector's edition of the game will also be available and will include a giant Goku vs. Broly statue. You can check out the new trailer below. Do you want to check out the trailer? Because that's all they have.
Oh yeah, so show the fans.
All right.
Our followers and all.
All right.
I think I saw it at Summerfest earlier this week.
Here we go. I do want to see if there's any comments after this. Okay, so there's no comments on this. Have you ever played the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games?
Not really. I played the Dragon Ball Fighters the other year or so when it was on Game Pass, I believe. Other than that, only for a few minutes. I'd say it was good to play if I put my time into it, but not really to like right at the moment because I was playing other games like Apex Legends, Halo, so I didn't get a chance to put some invest time into that game. I will admit that it's very good. The games like Dragon Ball Fighters, but games to do the Budokai Tenkaichi games and all the games beforehand for the last 30, 40 years. No, I haven't. I barely. The last game I ever played, other than Dragon Ball Fighters, was back in like 2005 at my mom's friend's house. We played this game called Budokai, or just Budokai by itself, I believe it was, and I was it for a few minutes. That's it. That's all I remember. So.
Okay, I haven't played any recent Dragon Ball games. The only two that come to memory were Final Bout, which on PlayStation, which was awful, and you should never ever play it. You should not waste your money on it.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 PlayStation 2, which was actually a good game. Which I actually, even not being a Dragon Ball fan, I actually enjoyed playing that game. I think I actually reviewed it. One point, so yeah, and I did like Budokai Tenkaichi because you didn't need to watch the Dragon Ball Z cartoon to enjoy the game. They explain it was random, it was fights that happened, but they explained the story before each fight, so even if you didn't watch the cartoon, you would know why these two people hated each other, or why these two characters were teaming up with each other, or something like that. So I mean, the Budokai Tenkaichi series has always been my favorite. So yeah, if Sparking Zero is basically a take on the Budokai Tenkaichi series, whether it's a prequel or a sequel or a spin-off, I think that's the best series to make a Dragon Ball game from. Sparking Zero does seem good. I just hope that they continue to do the storytelling for people who don't watch the cartoon or had no interest in watching the cartoon, but they just want to play a game.
Oh yeah, but also, if I can say this still, Triple J, if you really want to get very involved with the Dragon Ball franchise, I would suggest you start watching the first Dragon Ball series if you can find your copies of it that's affordable, or go pirate it. All that, it's up to you. But it's easy to find these days to find older anime now because everybody's been uploaded to the internet for the last 25 years, 10 years at least, based on my experience. And even though Kim.com was arrested from uploading all the Dragon Ball content that downloaded and stuff, you can still find other means on the internet. So it's free reign on the internet to find these things. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't see myself watching it right now. But like I said, the games, that's one thing. It's kind of like that with wrestling games. You can take in high school, you could find people that would not watch wrestling or had fallen out of love with wrestling, but they would still play the wrestling game. Mm-hmm. So they wouldn't watch the shows anymore, but they still get together with a few friends and they got a wrestling game. Sure, pop it in. That's how I kind of feel about Dragon Ball Z. I really don't watch anything that much except YouTube now. I really don't have the time, it's basically like I said, if I play the game and they can tell me what I need to know to be invested, that's good enough for me. It's just like none of the cartoons, whether it was Dragon Ball or even Pokemon. I like the games. Never really cared about the cartoon. That's how it's always been.
I understand. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, Dragon Ball. I just want to say that Dragon Ball itself as a franchise it's a blessing that you and I, around Triple J and I, and anyone else at our age, in our 30s and all, it's been a blessing to be born around this time because ever since I was as young as 5, 6 years old, I've been watching Dragon Ball, the original, on TV when it was first available before the trade-in of the anime, so that we had VHS tapes and all, because it was hard to find this anime back when we were kids. Now everything's just evolved over the last 30, 40 years. Akira Toriyama, he passed away earlier this year. Rest in peace him. He was the creator behind the Dragon Ball manga with Goku, Kid Goku, and all especially. It's a blessing to finally, we'll never get to meet Akira Toriyama at this rate, obviously, because he's passed away. But when he was alive and stuff like that, it's been a big he created one of the biggest franchises in anime history of all time, if ever. And now people are mimicking, not mimicking, but are inspired. One Piece, Big O, and Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that. That was after Dragon Ball original. It was great, man. I'm glad, and I hope you guys will be glad to see this occurrence. So more to come, ladies and gentlemen. More to come. So. All right, I'm done.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, it's kind of like when you were, well, I don't know, because I had people that were in my 7th grade Spanish class that loved Dragon Ball and Pokemon. Well, not Pokemon so much, but Dragon Ball Z definitely. But like I said, it sounds kind of like what you found out of Dragon Ball. I kind of had like to Animaniacs in the early days, and then Beavis and Butthead.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, I still got the before Beavis and Butthead came back to, I think they're on Paramount Plus now. I had their entire collection because when I moved down here in 2017, either in Walmart in that year or the beginning of 2018, I found an entire collection of Beavis and Butthead. It's got the movie, it's got the 2011 series, it's got their series from the 90s.
Nice.
So yeah, so I can watch that, anytime I want. Obviously, they don't have the music videos that Beavis and Butthead commentated over because they can't sell those music videos, even if it's just a clip. But still the part of the adventure where Beavis and Butthead are actually doing something. That's what you get in the episodes.
Yeah.
Especially the no laughing episode which is one of my favorites. But anyway, there's a bunch of episodes in that collection I never even watched yet. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on now.
Okay. Next, Street Fighter VI's Year 2 fighters include M. Bison and Fatal Fury guest fighters. Street Fighter VI's next DLC figures were revealed during Summer Game Fest. Series villain M. Bison and Elena are on the way and are joined by special guests in the form of SNK's Terry Bogard and Maya Sharath. An animated trailer shows off the Fatal Fury guest characters, a first for Street Fighter, while in-game cinematic reveals a rather disheveled M. Bison who looks as maniacal as ever. These four will kick off a new year of add-on fighters now that Akuma has wrapped up the Year 1 offering. They'll arrive in the following order: M. Bison on June 26, Terry Bogard in autumn of 2024, Maya in winter of 2025, and Elena in spring of 2025. Street Fighter is available now on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Let me see if there's any comments. Yep, there's 3. Violi goes, Capcom versus SNK 3. I can almost smell it. I don't think most people really understand how big this is and the potential meaning for the future of another crossover. RME33 goes, I'm going to enjoy all this for $30 even a few years from now. And Zero goes, never would have guessed. Super hyped for this. How do you feel about the new additions coming for Street Fighter 6?
Well, I saw the trailer at the Summer Games Fest 2024, and I have to say that was great. And I see that they didn't censor Maya from King of Fighters 94, and that's pretty cool because usually we hear censorship for how many years now with Sweet Baby Inc. and all the social justice bullshit behind the man. That's his own language. But yeah, so it's more power to the game itself. I think Geese will be involved sometime later on in Street Fighter 6. That's not check. Because if they did it for Tekken 7, they most certainly will do it for Street Fighter 6. So it's we never know until we see more details later on.
Do you think Capcom versus SNK 3 is on the way?
I know. Well, hold on a second. There's a third one. I know there's a
no. They're saying no. They're saying with the addition of adding SNK characters to Capcom Street Fighter, it's almost like we're getting an unofficial Capcom versus SNK game.
I'm about to say you scared me, James. Like like I played Capcom versus SNK on both the Dreamcast or some other system, as well as at the arcade as well too. So many years ago, I tried to play that not as much, but I did play at least one or twice of it when it was available in the arcade during the time that arcades were available left and right in most places in the United States. But other than that, other games like Capcom versus Marvel, and then the second sequel, the second one, third one, it's crazy, man. Like I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing something great with this Street Fighter 6 game altogether. And I've always wanted to play Street Fighter 6 as well as 5, as well as 4. So so far I have Street Fighter 4 on sale for about not even $5 on the Xbox store back 2 or 3 years ago. I know it's just to play it. So that's so much going on when it comes to gaming and all. But other than that, Street Fighter 6 we're up to, and it's history making, man. It's one day I will try to get a copy of Street Fighter 6, and hopefully you'll download the characters as well. One day, hopefully,
right.
So
yeah, hopefully. Well, you never know. I mean, because it's not like like I said, as long as they're adding new characters, like they said, it's good till winter 2025. So they got characters that are coming until then. So it doesn't look like there's any danger of that game being delisted or the DLC being unavailable anytime soon.
Especially on the PlayStation, if you want to play the PlayStation mark.
Right.
That's how I feel about PlayStation, because that even though they've been like backstabby / not tacky, whatever, with their business partners and all, they still keep to maintain a good not preservation, but there's something about PlayStation that's different from Xbox, Microsoft, because PlayStation, they're the ones who've been running the defining scenes and all on that system or that brand altogether for years now. So it's interesting. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, so this game is definitely not going anywhere. And who knows, but if they add more SNK characters in future waves, this might turn into a Capcom versus SNK game unofficially. So that's all I have to say. So
move on.
I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, we're ready to move on too.
All right. This next one I'm really excited for. I might have to actually get a month of Xbox Live for this. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind announced. Summer Games Fest 2024 gave us the first look at the new Power Rangers game, and it's looking like a blast from the past. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind comes to us via Studio Digital Eclipse, and the project appears to be a side-scrolling brawler beat-em-up at its heart, with multiple players working together to beat up baddies as they move right across the screen, echoing other favorites of the genre like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or X-Men. But the game also appears to feature other vehicle sequences, including what looks like first-person Zord punching sequences. The game features online and offline co-op for up to 5 players. If you're looking to pull up on your preferred colored Ranger suit, you can watch for release on PC and consoles later in 2024. So let me get to comments. MN686 goes, "This and Lego Horizon were the only 2 great things to come out of Summer Games Fest." So a Power Rangers game like that followed the path of TMNT. Wait a minute. I think there's you want to see the trailer?
Yeah, let's see it again. No problem.
Okay.
I saw it earlier too. So.
Oh wow!
Yep. I think I like that part.
Yep. I don't even like that part.
That's
Okay,
a motorcycle.
I'm glad that I decided to play the trailer.
Oh yeah.
So you want to go first, or you want me to go first? Because I do have a lot to say about this.
I would say this though, that it's amazing to see that kind of action first time in a while. Any side-scrolling beat 'em up game, it's wow. I saw that first time on the Summer Games Fest area at the time. So yeah, but you can go on to what you want to say, Triple J.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, obviously, this is obviously I can't be completely unbiased because I did grow up watching Power Rangers. You know, Rita Repulsive, Lord Zed. That was the era I grew up with. That I watched Power Rangers during, like second grade, third grade. I was watching it almost every day after school.
Oh yeah.
So that's the era I grew up with.
Same here.
By the time Amy Jo left, I think had already moved on to like Batman, the animated series. But you know, Goldar, the Eye Guy. You know, I remember those episodes. So you know, it's and Goldar appeared in multiple episodes, at least in the you know, this is the Mighty Morphin era. If you're thinking, you know, if you joined after the Mighty Morphin era, whether it was Dino Rescue or Lightspeed Rescue or whatever, then you might not have the same nostalgia that I have when I saw this. But this game looked awesome. Yeah, you know, this game, if this game is available on base Xbox One, I would get a month of Xbox Games with Gold, Core or Ultimate. I could probably get by with Core just to play this online. This is a game I would come back to Xbox Live for, at least for a month. So yeah, this game looks awesome, and I hope, and there's really no reason with the game still coming out on Xbox One. There's no reason a game like this can't be on Xbox One base console. What do you have to say?
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game, it looks very exciting and hyped for the moments, of course, in the game and all. And yeah, I'm very surprised that we keep making more Power Ranger related fighting games over the years, decades. Especially the original one, from the original one, of a standpoint. Usually the most recent was the Dino Force or Dino Blasters, whatever it's called. That's about it. Like the recent Power Rangers are not all that great. I saw trailers of them, and it's a few minutes of the TV show of current time on Saturdays, wherever it's on broadcast to that, and it wasn't all that great. Those recent Power Rangers. That's why they stuck with the original Power Rangers by looks of things for this upcoming Power Rangers game. So it's yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like in full release. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, just wow, that was a big trip of nostalgia, I have to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like I said, I definitely want to hear more about this game. It's probably still not coming out for a while. But like I said, if Shredder's Revenge could be on base Xbox One consoles, there's no reason this one can't. And like I said, you know, very few things would make me come back to Xbox Live, but this to play Xbox games online, this is one of them. Oh, yeah. So we could do you know, if it is available in base Xbox One or even the cloud, we'd have to play it through Game Pass. Then we'd have to get Game Pass Ultimate, or if it was on Game Pass Core. We could play it. We could play it then too. We wouldn't be able to stream it, but we would be able to at least play it together online. So, yeah. So,
excuse me.
Oh, that's you. So, yeah. Because the Power Rangers game that was on Game Pass when I had Game Pass was not that good.
Yeah, I heard
from what I heard.
Yeah, Angry Joe. I keep referring to Angry Joe because he shows most of the best stuff than anyone else online, and. It looked horrible. The soundtrack was horrible after a while because it kept repeating itself and all. It looked hideous. That Power just gave from like 5 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So this was like I said, I can't wait to hear more about this game. You know, and you know, we never did a second stream of Shredder's Revenge together. We could definitely do this. So
yeah, I make time for us. Yeah, definitely.
So So I mean, Obviously, we got to wait until more information comes out about it, but I'm hyped with what I've seen already.
That's something that could fuck it up.
Yeah. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Cairn is a new climbing adventure survival game from the developers behind Haven. The Game Bakers has developed the Game Bakers, the developers behind 2020's Haven, have revealed Cairn, a climbing game all about exploring and surviving on a mountain. Revealed during today's Summer Game Fest 2024 showcase, Cairn appears to be about a woman attempting to climb a very high and difficult mountain, only to die several times in the process. However, if the reveal trailer is any indication, dying isn't the end of a climb, just a part of the process. Though not confirmed, this premise seems to point towards Cairn being a roguelite, or at least a game where dying is part of the process. Rock climbing treachery aside, the game looks beautiful. Reach a summit never climbed before in the survival climber game, the game's description reads. Climb anywhere and plan your route carefully, managing pittance and resources to survive the unforgiving Mount Kami. Discover what Ava is willing to sacrifice to achieve the ascent of a lifetime. Cairn is due out on consoles and PC sometime next year. So comments, there's one. Healing Toolbox goes, would be useful to compare the game with Jusant, made by Don't Nod Thoughts. Jusant, a 2023 standout, 89 out of 100 by PC Gamer, 95% like this game. Video game, says Google. Jusant is a 2023 puzzle platform game developed and published by Don't Nod. The player controls a lone wanderer as they claim a desolate tower filled with the artifacts of civilizations long past. So do you like, are you interested in Cairn?
I seen gameplay of it, or at least the one they showed at Summerfest. It looked good. Looked very death-defying if you're the actual climber yourself in the actual situation. Obviously, I'm kind of too big and tall for that stuff. Probably the minute that I climb like Mount Everest on like after 100 feet, I'll fall down, splat on the ground. because my size and all. I'll be like, yeah.
And then Mount Everest would fall down.
Yeah, that too. And then it's the earthquake, and then revelations happen. It's everyone's going to the heavens. It's a blessing sometimes. I was joking. On the serious note, Cairn itself, the game, it looks good. It's I hope I'll be going to play that. Was it delayed this year or next year, right?
They said sometime next year, I think. So.
Okay, got time to.
Let me see if I still have that article pulled up. I do. Yeah, it comes out on PC and console sometime next year. So sometime in 2025.
Yeah, I already wish list on Steam because a lot of the games Summerfest I wish list on as of late. So it's gonna be interesting to see other games there. But we're gonna talk more about the Summerfest later tonight, though, right? Triple J?
Yeah,
right,
yeah. Like I covered the game. I got articles on the games I was interested in that happened to be at Summer Games Fest. But like near the end of the podcast, I'm gonna let Dr. Games 101 bring up anything he was interested in that I didn't happen to bring up.
Right. I understand.
Okay. So anything else, Dad, or ready to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay. So one moment. Okay. Next, Sonic X Shadow Generations gets October release date and new gameplay trailer. Sonic X Shadow Generations, a remaster of the original 2011 Generations game with improved visuals and added shadow camping, launches this October. More specifically, a new gameplay trailer Sega released during today's Summer Game Fest 2024 showcase confirms it's launching on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC for $49.99. If the new trailer, we get a look at some of the Generations gameplay as well as some of the new Shadow the Hedgehog gameplay, which is brand new as part of this release. Not only can you play as Shadow, but Sega has created new levels to play through as Sonic. Sega revealed Sonic X Shadow Generations during a January PlayStation State of Play earlier this year, revealing it's a remaster of Generations with 60 frames per second performance, a playable Shadow the Hedgehog, with new levels, too, alongside Sonic and more. It looks great, and we can't wait to replay one of the Blue Blur's best games. Fortunately, we don't have to wait too long because Sonic X Shadow Generations, it's it's PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC on October 25th. So let me see if there's any comments. There's a couple. Zach Freehan goes fondly, Sonic is back. And RME33 goes, Shadow ruins everything. So, are you looking forward to playing Sonic X Shadow Generations?
I'm very surprised to go back to a 2011 video game just to update it for Shadow the Hedgehog specifically. It's interesting to see them. I mean, of course, the game itself, Sonic Generations, is a good game. I mean, it'd be the best game ever I played, but it's alright to play every now and then, especially if I was younger. For example, if I was like 6 years old in 2011, I would definitely go play more Sonic Generations easily. And now I'm 36, in my 30s, Sonic it's been around since 1981, 1992, so it's it's a big progression in how well they've been maintaining the franchise. Of course, yeah, Sonic 2006, one of the horrible launches ever in Sonic history. But other than that, we're trying to move on from that, and on to good things. And Shadow the Hedgehog is going to be an addition to the Sonic Generations, and see how good it is. I saw a gameplay event at Summerfest event, the YouTube channel of itself. So
yeah. Did you ever beat the original Sonic Generations?
Never. I will admit that. I'm still stuck on level 2. My progress. Because when I was in the hospital after a year, back in 2012, 2013, I went back to the hospital again months later for 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, I was playing Sonic Generations in the actual hospital, surprisingly, in the mental ward. It was pretty interesting. They had let patients like myself play the game. And I made some progress. I think I went to like the 4th level. But when I got home and played my own copy, I got to the 2nd level so far. So
yeah, because did you get it through Games with Gold like I did?
I believe so, yes. I hope I don't have to pay for it again. Because when Xbox Core started, I couldn't play the games anymore that I owned through Games with Gold. So they made people pay for it twice. Or not twice, but to purchase it again, last time I checked. Because when I try to get Fallout 3 to play Fallout 3, it's telling me that I don't own it anymore after Xbox Game with Gold was stopped, or at least was moved to Xbox Core. So
because I can still play any Xbox or Xbox 360 game I downloaded through Games with Gold. It's just if I try to download I try to play an Xbox One game like the Dead Rising remaster or the Resident Evil remaster or Darksiders 3, games that were actually released for Xbox One, then I have to pay for Game Pass Core if I want to play those games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So but like since Sonic Generations was 360, I can still play that anytime I want. I did get to the final level where you play as Super Sonic. I haven't been able to beat the final level because you only Super Sonic for so long, and then like when Sonic's superpowers turn off, basically you just like fall to your death. So it's that I didn't understand that. But like I said, I've gotten to the final boss. I just haven't beaten the final boss on Sonic Generations. But
do you remember when did you play the last time?
Huh?
What was the last time you played Sonic Generations? If I ask.
What was what?
What was the last time you played Sonic Generations?
Ooh, months ago, maybe even years ago.
Yeah, definitely chase us then. Mostly you had to pay again for Sonic Generations.
No, maybe, but I doubt it because, like I said, I still got like Tropico 4, which I got through Games with Gold. It's a 360 game. I can pull that up. I can play that anytime I want. So,
yeah, they're very selective.
Yeah, maybe. But like I said, with me, with my experience, ever since I let Games with Gold die out and Game Pass Ultimate lapse, any 360 or Xbox game I can download and play that I got through Games with Gold. But any Xbox One game, they they send me a subscription. They send me a notice saying I got resubscribe to Game Pass Core if I want to play that game. I can download it, but I can't play it.
Okay.
So yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, like I said, so like I could play Mafia 2 if I wanted to play that all over again. I could. Any 360 or Xbox game. I played Breakdown not too long ago on stream. Well, might have been a few months ago now, but that was an original Xbox game that I played on stream, which wasn't really good. That was through Games with Gold because I never heard of it before then.
Yeah.
So it's So I mean, like I said, Sonic Generations, with a new campaign with Shadow, with new levels for Sonic. I'm definitely interested in trying this out.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Alan Wake 2 Night Springs expansion releases tomorrow. Physical version of the game coming soon. Alan Wake 2 is getting DLC tomorrow, June 8th, called Night Springs. That follows familiar characters from the Alan Wake universe in their what-if scenario, in 3 what-if scenarios. One episode follows Rose Marigold from the diner, Alan Wake's biggest fan, who feels she is the only one capable of saving him. Another episode follows Shawn Ashmore, where he appears to be playing himself as opposed to his character Sheriff Tim Waker. Of course, this is Alan Wake, so who knows where the fourth wall line exists. Finally, a third episode follows Jesse Fadden from Remedy's previous game Control. Alongside the DLC, game directors Sam Lake took the Summit Game Fest stage to announce that a physical version of the game is finally on the way as well, and pre-orders open tomorrow. You can read our Alan Wake 2 review here. Couple comments. Joey Cunningham goes, "Glad I can finally pick up a physical copy as I've been looking forward to this game for a while, although unfortunately it sounds like the DLC won't be on disc, which kind of defeats the purpose. Although including the remastered digital copy is a nice touch. Personally, I wouldn't mind a future where game releases are digital, and then a year or so later, a complete physical version with DLC and all updates are released later. That would be a good idea, because you can then just cancel the physical release if a game doesn't do well."
Mm-hmm.
Mun G86 goes, or better yet, stop the fear-mongering and let go of physical media like we have in every other realm. If you want to be like the PC crowd and waiting for games while we gamers play them and more on that, so that's on you, but let's stop with the unnecessary clutter and resource wasting already. Okay, how much is MN386 being paid? And Tim stands on, goes, "What's wrong with people actually wanting to own something? Wanting to collect something? You're being kind of ridiculous." Yes! And Harvey Jeet goes, "Terrible take. You don't even own any digital games. It's not wasting resources either. LOL." Okay, so do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay. I do want to bring up something we've talked about in private, and I'll just go one word. I'll just go with one word.
Okay.
Winning. We are winning. The physical media people, the people who are not willing to let physical media go and games become all digital, we're winning. And it's not just, they finally caved and are releasing Alan Wake 2 on physical, in physical form, so people can play it. This would not be happening if Alan Wake 2 was still doing gangbuster numbers just digitally. And it's not just video games. I mean, look at all these networks, like HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix. A lot of these networks that have their own streaming service are now banding together almost to create a streaming form of cable, because these networks on their own aren't bringing in enough money to support themselves. Right. So they're having to partner up with other streaming networks to get a price, and it's almost like this would not be happening if the streaming networks were doing so well. So as a big supporter of physical media and still wants physical games, this is awesome. So I mean, and like I said, that was a great idea, actually. Release a game digitally so the people who want to play it day one can, and then if the game is a success, release it, and it's going to get DLC and stuff. Release it a year or so later on disc with the DLC included. Well, that's not a bad idea. Whether publishers will do that is another story. But yeah, so and this also sounds great. What do you want to say?
If we're referring to we're still talking about Alan Wake 2 to some degree, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the expansions I saw on the showcase, the game showcase, obviously, and it seems alright at first to have those expansions, but it looked kind of not out of whack. Like, it's not the same as Alan Wake itself, so I don't see the point of these expansions. Yeah, it's like I can't say much about it. It looks like it's not doing so well. Alan Wake 2. I was expecting great things for that game. So,
well, how do you feel about them going back to releasing a physical version of Alan Wake 2? Do you feel like in the culture war between digital and physical, the physical side is winning, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, people are resenting the fact that all digital. Even I myself don't, even though I don't mind digital, but I always wanted to myself what are they trying to do with my library for the past not several years, but a couple of years now, because like I told you before, like where at first you able to play games with gold games as long as you have the subscription on. Well, now it's so I had to pay for them again. Like that was ridiculous on their part to make me pay for something that I already not rightfully owned, but at the same time you offered it to me for free if I had my subscription. So it's redundancy.
And I mean,
stupid.
And with Game Pass Core, we would get access to our Xbox One games with gold if we had Game Pass Core at least.
Right.
It's just what was the point when we had Ultimate? So, and like I said, I just don't see myself paying $11 because, like I said, most of the things I do on Xbox One is watching YouTube when I'm working on stuff for my online stores. It's So, it's not as much as I used to. It just the subscription every month doesn't the subscription every month in, month out doesn't make any sense anymore in my life. But like I said, for like a special occasion, for like something like Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind or something, yeah, I would pay for a month so I could, play that online. But it's, like I said, it'd be a case-by-case scenario. It'd be for something specific, and I would just enjoy the rest of the month until the subscription ran out. I wouldn't renew my subscription every month like I used to.
Especially if there's free-to-play games to play on these systems as well, like Apex, Fortnite, maybe even PUBG.
And not to mention, you can get and like I said, well, I think it's $11 with games with Core, Game Pass Core, and like $18 with Game Pass Ultimate per month. You know how many retro games you can get with that? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 18 times 12, that's 180. That's $216. So like a full year of Game Pass Ultimate, you could build up a collection for almost any console you wanted. And when I say collection, maybe it'd be a small collection if it's like GameCube games, but you would still have a few different ones that you could play anytime you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't be playing against the clock before that subscription, before you had to pay more money. Like I said, that's just it. So, anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on.
All right. Next, Jeff Keighley. Big companies have to treat their developers right. The Summer Game Fest host weighed in on the current video game industry meltdown. The host of E3 replacement Summer Game Fest, Jeff Keighley, kicked off the showcase's fourth year by doing what many have called on the veteran industry inside to do for months. Used his biggest platform to acknowledge the current state of mass layoffs, cuts, and cancellations at some of gaming's biggest publishers and studios. I know if you watch this show, you don't just play games. You deeply care about this art form and the health of this industry. Keighley, who also helms the Game Awards every year, said on the stage of the YouTube Theater on June 7th as the showcase got underway. The good news is we have a lot of amazing games to show you from creators around the world over the next 2 hours. But let's face it, this has been a difficult and tumultuous year with company layoffs and studio closures that has disappointed all of us. The remark built on sparring tweets the face of video game hype and made on the subject back in March 2024 has always seen over 10,000 layoffs in the video game industry in the first 6 months, the same as the total for all of last year. Almost every other week, a new indie or well-known studio has cut staff or shut down completely. That's included hundreds of layoffs across Activision Blizzard and Bethesda, including the shocking stuttering of Arcane Austin and hi-fi rush maker Tango Gameworks. Sony also shut down London studio and cut hundreds of developers. A billboard in Los Angeles for Summer Game Fest is currently memorializing some of the game's teams that are no more. Keighley, who has long attempted to steer clear of taking a stance on controversial topics, didn't castigate any of the executive teams behind these decisions. Instead, he tried to strike a more positive note, putting up a list of 2024 breakout hits like Power World and Balatro that found success and big audiences outside the standard AAA publishing models. I got inspired that new ideas, new teams, and smaller creators can and will break through. It's a reminder to big companies they have to treat their developers right, because today there are money paths to sustainability and success, and that's what makes this industry so great, Keighley said. The host then immediately pivoted back to hawking his upcoming world premiere for the showcase, which he stressed would be coming from big teams and solo developers alike, even as there's been some criticism about the hundreds of thousands it cost many studios to get their game trailers aired during the event. He said some solo creators were invited to show their games in the event because we think this platform is important as a way to show you new things that you might not even know about. The first world premiere that had been proceeded to start the event proper was for LEGO Horizon Adventure, co-developed by Guerrilla Games, one of the Sony studios that suffered several layoffs earlier this year. So, what do you think about Jeff Keighley basically taking the stance?
I'm very surprised that he's, of all people, he's doing that. He's standing up for developers. Usually, when I see Jeff Keighley, I don't think he's a super bad guy or whatever. I'm just saying the fact that, he's something. I never heard the guy until he started doing the Game Awards show back 10 years ago. And
really?
Wow. Yeah, I didn't hear of him until after the fact, until after he started his own Game Awards show, when Spike TV kind of canceled the regular Game Awards show through their TV network. So it's kind of like what he's trying to do. He's trying to make it believe like Hollywood style type of entertainment. That's what I've been hearing for the last several years now. Not years, but a couple of years now, where him and other people involved with the matter trying to make videos like the next movies or the next TV or shows or whatever, like an Emmy Awards show or the Oscars, stuff like that. All well and good to some extent, but for gamers, for us people playing games, not the other way around where it's like these actors and actresses are like taking all the spotlight on not the developers. It's something like that. But Jeff Keighley's now finally trying to help out the developers themselves. So I guess he's saying that he's making a good smart moves now instead of trying to be the next Tom Cruise of Hollywood for these Summerfest trailers and all. It's whatever. Something to degree on my end as a gamer, but the average gamer is going to look like this. It's like, okay, well, are you trying to take over the industry or what? Because that's what's going on for years now with all the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff and social justice and LGBT, you name it. So, if Jeff Keighley can say something about that would be great too.
Yeah. Just hold on. I just got to check out something.
Sure.
Okay, I'm back. There's like a faint tone I heard. I didn't know if it was the air conditioning system or what. Checked the door to my room. Looked in the house. Everyone seems to be asleep, so it's probably nothing. It's just something I started noticing. Anyway, so yeah, I've heard of Jeff Keighley. I've known of him since he did Gamehead on Spike TV. That would become game trailers. They had one episode they would always cut out for the they would replace for the Game Awards back in June, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I've known of Jeff Keighley for a long time. I found him to be an entertaining guy. I like his show, Gamehead. So yeah, but I am surprised. He does seem to not be a confrontational guy, which is fine. But that makes it all the more surprising that he's standing up for it and saying what everyone's been thinking. As far as treatment for developers goes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I'm surprised he said it, but I fully support him. And like I said, I've always liked Jeff Keighley, so I don't get what people hate about him. He just seems like a good guy that does love video games.
Well, from
So
what
maybe they'll.
if I can say this though, from what I hear about Jeffrey Keighley, he likes to appeal towards the Hollywood side of the entertainment, all the games, whatever, with the movies, like I mentioned earlier. So that's why, for the last couple of years, at least a good couple of years now.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just it's like I said. I like him. I think I think he's a great host for video game events. Okay, so that must have been the air conditioner because it just turned off and that tone stopped. So anyway, yeah. So like I said, I like Jeff Keighley, and I don't think there's anything wrong with him. And
Okay.
I do think he's a great host for any presentation to do with video games.
I see. Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on, please.
Okay. Next, more Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League support reportedly scaled back at Rocksteady following disastrous launch. I'm going to do the original story, then the update. What now for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? The live service shooter flopped to the tune of $200 million upon its launch earlier this year, and ever since players have wondered just how long support would last. Following a Bloomberg report into the development of the game, the author of that report, Jason Schreier, has tweeted to say Rocksteady is now providing some bare-bones support, definitely not as much as they had originally planned. That's a worry for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's small but loyal fan base. Yeah, all five of them. Which is made up of fans who continue to play the game despite its failings, and calls into question how long publisher Warner Brothers will have Rocksteady devote resources to the game. According to Bloomberg, staff at the studio are currently working on a director's cut of the phenomenally successful Hogwarts Legacy, while leadership pitches a return to single-player following this live service misstep. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League did look to set to receive a new content. The game recently released introduction of Mrs. Freeze as a playable character for Season 2, in the short term at least, but Rocksteady has yet to announce Season 2 or what it will add to the game. Season 1 added Joker as a playable character. Data mining has suggested playable characters on their way include Mrs. Freeze, Lawless, and Deathstroke. But will Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League actually get these playable characters, or even subsequent seasons? The game's community, such as it is, has declared the game dead following Bloomberg's report. I honestly don't think the planned Season 2 to 4 are happening, whether Gizmo 16868 said. Those in the game's official Discord have already turned their attention to Rocksteady's next game, and the hope it will rekindle the excitement around the studio's much-loved Batman Arkham series. For now, though, it seems a question of when, not if, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League goes the way of so many live service failures and its developer officially moves on. Now I'll read the update to the article. Update. Warner Brothers has told IGN that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will complete its currently announced roadmap. For more on what that means for the game, check out our latest article. So let's see, comments. Mega Man 1877 goes, seeing these games crash and burn means the industry is healing, and no amount of insane screaming into the air that these so-called devs, really activists, did recently is going to help them. You stirred the hornet's nest far too much, and we, the actual playing gamers, are fed up with all modern audiences nonsense. We just want great, enjoyable escapism entertainment back on back, not this slop with pandering forced messages everywhere. Spicy Michael goes, it's officially absurd to conflate this game's failure with your inflammatory and diversity conspiracies. Could just as well argue that this game failed because of shoestrings, and it's evidence that boots are finally going to make a comeback. And Mark with the mouth goes, we are probably in for another industry crash like back in '83, which you've also suggested could happen. So what do you? So it looks like Mrs. Freeze is definitely coming. I don't know if Deathstroke or Lawless will also come to Suicide Squad. I'm not sure too many people care. But what do you think about this whole situation?
Well, whether Rocksteady and their game, the disastrous all Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been bad or not, they had something to roll out the monthly or the monthly editions, or they called them, for the game itself, in order to be complete. For example, the last boss of every boss for the last two bosses now, it was a manifestation of with the superheroes or the supervillains with that monster and take over their bodies and all each of them. So if you got to do it with Mrs. Freeze and then later on other characters for another 4 or 5 more times, they have to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a complete mess, and people are going to drop out of the play the game altogether. So
yeah, but this is what they said is basically these were going to be new playable characters, not enemies.
Okay.
But like they said, Joker went over like a fart in church at best. So yeah, I mean, like I said, Mrs. Freeze might show up since she was the next one announced, but we don't know. And if Deathstroke and Lawless were just rumors from people who mined data in the game and found out, and who basically hacked the game and found out that they were in the game. Their files have just not been released yet. But yeah, like I said, this basically this, like I said, winning. We don't want this slop with pandering messages, and with we don't want activists. We don't want games for these activists. Put these activists back on the unemployment line.
I'll make them wash dishes.
So, yeah, they can wash dishes, pick roadkill off the side of the road. There's jobs they can do.
Yeah, just do it. Otherwise, this country's going to fall literally down.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Sweet Baby Inc. Can also start their new career as cleaning the sides of highways and stuff. Maybe they can change their name to Highway Cleaners.
Yeah. Sweet Highway Cleaners.
Yeah. So, again, like I said, yeah, people don't want these games. But I do want to bring up something that the third person said. Sounds like a video game crash in '83 to be coming back. No, because you've also mentioned that. You've also said that you think that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to you about that multiple times, and I do think if we do have a video game crash, it's mainly going to be just the AAA publishers like WB and Take-Two, and like Ubisoft and other people that other companies that have gotten too big for their britches, even though they're AAA companies.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
A possible gaming crash? It's plausible, possible too. It's they keep this up with all the political correctness in games and selling games overpriced and all. It will create this a backlog, or this pile up, you want to call it. So it may not be the exact factors that happened back in 1983 with that crash, but it's going to be a similar rhythm to it. So to keep this up over and over, to Kill the Justice League and Anthem and Watch Dogs, even, because Watch Dogs was supposed to be all this, razzle-dazzle graphical, game and all, but it was for the Xbox One, so actually it wasn't all that great. So it's stuff like that. That's what since 2014, 2015 has been going on. So it's
Right.
you know,
Well, I liked Watch Dogs. So I mean,
it's
the
okay to
first one.
play. Don't get me wrong, it's okay to play
Yeah.
the game Watch Dogs. It's just that the graphics of it's supposed to be all out, endearing and very shock and awe.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you wanted great graphics, play Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 1 came out early in the Xbox One's life cycle, so
Okay.
you also got to keep in mind when the console is like in its first year or two of the life cycle, most game developers don't know how to max out the graphic capabilities yet,
Okay.
whatever they could be. So. But like I said, video game crash. Yeah, there might be one coming, but I don't think the independent developers are going to be affected. As a matter of fact, they might drive down some of these AAA companies and let independent companies rise up to take place of those AAA companies that had destroyed gamers' trust one too many times. That's what I think will happen if there is another video game crash. It's just going to affect the AAA developers negatively.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Next, Life is Strange Double Exposure announced and arriving October 29th. Return of the Max. Square Enix and developer Deck 9 Games revealed Life is Strange Double Exposure at the Xbox Game Showcase. The new entry in the franchise will see the return of Max Caulfield as the protagonist. For those unfamiliar, Max was the main character in the original Life is Strange, which debuted in 2015. With Double Exposure, she sees the death of one of her new friends, Safi. As such, Max attempts to rewind time using a power that she hasn't called upon for years. Instead of turning back the clock, she somehow creates a parallel universe where Safi is still alive. Described as a supernatural murder mystery, Life is Strange Double Exposure will see Max going back and forth between the two universes to save Safi in both realities. Life is Strange Double Exposure is planned to launch October 29th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. The game will also come to Nintendo Switch at some point. Square Enix also unveiled there will be 3 editions of the title, Standard, Deluxe, and Ultimate. If you pre-order the Ultimate version, you can play the first 2 chapters of Life is Strange Double Exposure early on October 15th. So there's no comments about this one. So what do you think? I know you haven't played any of the Life is Strange games yet, still. Do you have anything to say about this? Hello? We're still connected. Oh. So I guess I'll just give my thoughts.
Sorry about that. I'm back. Sorry about that, Heather. I'm back. Sorry, Triple J.
Okay, yes.
What happened again with the article with Life is Strange? Triple J?
So,
can you hear me? Hello?
I just...
Let me disconnect and reconnect, Triple J. Hold on. Mic check once. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Sorry about that.
All right.
What were you saying?
Basically, about this game, Max, who was in the original one.
Hello? I'm sorry, guys.
Can you hear me?
We have some technical difficulties, guys. I can hear you loud and clear, Triple J. Keep breaking up, though.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now loud and clear.
Okay, I can hear you. Okay, let's hope Discord stops.
Okay, I can't hear at all. Hello, Triple J?
Yes, I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, so I'll keep Discord open on my screen. Hopefully this time, let's. I hate Discord. But anyway, can you still hear me?
Loud and clear, yes.
Okay. So basically, there's a new Life is Strange game coming called Double Exposure. It stars Max, who was the character you played as in the original Life is Strange. And basically, she tried to save her friend named Safi, but instead of rewinding time, she creates an alternate reality where Safi is still alive. So she tries to save Safi in both realities. And that's basically all we know about the game. I know you haven't played any of the Life is Strange games that have come out, right?
Not in fullness, though. I played Life is Strange Episode 1 so far on the Xbox 360. And then I got I got the copy of the remastered. I started playing that. Still up to the Chapter 2, I think it is now, of the... Not Chapter 2, but, the third part of Chapter 1, or the second part of Chapter 1. And that's the part where I have to pour that water on that cheerleader or that popular woman whenever in school, in college, whatever.
Right.
So up to that part most likely. That's about it. That's all I did was Chapter 1 or the first part of Life is Strange original.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this game is not coming out on Xbox One. It's next gen only, which sucks. But yeah, so I mean, I was looking forward to this. I wondered if they were going to bring back Chloe in some way. I just felt really bad for her character after Before the Storm, and the original Life is Strange. But either way, I was looking forward to this, but I don't have a next gen console, so I won't be able to try out this game unless it somehow ends up on Game Pass, which could be. True Colors was on Game Pass.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I was looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play it. But yeah, I love these games. So it's a shame we never got the Return to Arcadia Bay, which it looked like, which was supposed to be like the first sequel after Life is Strange or Life is Strange 2. We never heard about that game again. There's only a trailer out about it, so that. So I guess that game's got canceled quietly. But yeah, I mean, this game is probably going to be great. Just like the other Life is Strange games that I played, because I played every single one of them except 2 all the way through, and I enjoyed all of them. So.
Okay. Speaking of a Life is Strange universe, have you tried to play the other demo game called Captain Spirit?
No, I never even heard of that game.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a spin-off of the Life is Strange games. It's not fully related to Life is Strange story mode or story sequence, but it's in the universe of Life is Strange. That's why it's somewhat relatable. So far, I only saw the trailer of the Captain Spirit. I do have a demo copy of it that you can't download anymore on my Xbox and all, so I'm just going to try to play that, hopefully start this month with you guys. So obviously, once you try to... If you try to re-download it, you have to have a copy of it that you already downloaded previously. So they don't have the full game of Captain Spirit for such a reason. I can't find it anywhere, but you can still put the demo version though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So ready to move on?
I'm ready.
Okay. Next, we do got a little more about Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Oh yeah.
New Life is Strange game charges $30 for early access, and fans aren't thrilled. The adventure game is letting people who pay extra the first 2 episodes weeks in advance. One of the cool surprise announcements from this year's June Xbox showcase was Life is Strange Double Exposure. The latest entry in the Supernatural Adventure series will return to original protagonist Max Caulfield as she solves the murder of her friend by jumping between alternate timelines. While that's an exciting prospect for longtime fans, the game has been mired in a bit of controversy as Square Enix has rolled out details about its relative plans. Like previous games in the series, Double Exposure will be an episodic game. However, it won't be rolling out periodically like the first few games did, and will instead follow True Color's format of releasing all the episodes at once. Well, with one catch. The game's $80 Ultimate Edition will let you play the first 2 chapters on October 15th, 2 weeks before the game's October 29th release date. Fans are criticizing this decision, thanks Eurogamer, both because it's incentivizing players to pay up for early access, and because it will open up fans who can't afford or don't want to pay extra to spoilers for 2 weeks. The move would almost feel like an homage to the original game structure if it wasn't also kind of gross. I feel like Square Enix locked this awesome feature behind a paywall, Upper Camel Case wrote on Reddit. Episodic releasing inside the original Life is Strange is such a great experience when it originally released. Now, only the people who are willing to pay a lot of money for something they don't know if it's even good are going to be able to experience it. They are preying on the most devoted fans, not nice. It's clear Square Enix is banking on fear of missing out to get people to fork over the extra $30, as even their marketing copy on Steam highlights how this lets people be part of the discussion around Max's latest story. Don't miss your chance to join the conversation around this unforgettable supernatural murder mystery, the Steam page reads. Double Exposure isn't the only video game in the world that lets people pay more to play early, but 2 weeks is much larger head start than these arrangements usually allow for. However, it does have the advantage of not being an online game like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which had server trouble during this early access period, rendering it useless after all that money spent. The trade-off is that inevitably someone will get spoiled on those first 2 episodes because they couldn't justify the cost. On top of this, Double Exposure is also falling into another tiresome modern video game release trend in that its $60 collector's edition doesn't actually contain a copy of the game. There's some neat stuff in the package, including a vinyl soundtrack and artwork, but Square Enix's store page puts in big red letters that the actual Double Exposure game is sold separately. If you want both this big box of goodies and to see Max's next chapter unfold, you'll have to fork over an extra $50 or $80 if you want the early access. Honestly, a $110 collector's edition isn't even that expensive by modern standards, but the unnecessary obtuseness in how it's sold is the issue. Collector's editions that are just boxes of swag that don't include the game aren't actually editions of the game at all. Ultimately, these are big company decisions, separate from whether Double Exposure will be any good or not. But it's not the best look for a game that's clearly banking on fans' love for the 2015 original. The Life is Strange series has become known for hopping between protagonists at this point, and going to Max is likely to draw back in old fans, so it's a shame it has this weighing it down right out of the gate. So what do you think about this about this early access period being 2 weeks before the game instead of like 3 days?
2 weeks is a pretty long time to wait for the original release, and that's I would say it's an insult as far as like the quality of the story, whatever. It's just that you're breaking up the community at large to be synced in with what you want gamers to see and experience. Because once until the earlier fans, the ones who get the 2 weeks prior to, they get the first chops to it, and it's it's not gonna look well for the regular gamers who just wait till every few weeks, few months per episode, like it once was originally for Telltale games and all. It's the Wolf Among Us or the Left 4 Dead series, stuff like that. So, but Life is Strange, of course, yeah. I mean, it's good altogether. Lots of drama, lots of action. I hear, especially after Chapter 1, Chapter 2 and 3 of the original remaster versions. But yeah, it's iffy. You divide up the fans. So.
Yeah. Obviously people could curb their excitement. They could obviously miss out. They would have to just watch not so many streams not watch streams where they know people would be playing the game from through early access if they didn't want anything ruined. So like any YouTube videos or Twitch streams that had the game that mentioned the game in any way, they would basically have to avoid if they couldn't afford the early access. And I do think $30 for an early access condition is ridiculous. I do think it's ridiculous to have a game edition that gives you like the art book and the soundtrack on vinyl, but doesn't actually give you the game. So that's also ridiculous. So I mean, I totally agree with this. I just hope this is not a prelude of things to come. Because, like I said, I can't speak for Life is Strange 2, but other than that, the Life is Strange series has been awesome. Don't tell me this is going to be the flop. You know. So, yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, I don't agree with what they're doing with these new collector's editions. I mean, like I said, 2 weeks. I mean, you could play the whole game in 2 weeks. Yeah. Even if it's just the first 2 chapters. I mean, so I really don't see the point in what they're doing, and it could divide the community between the ones who could afford it and the ones who couldn't. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
That's all I got to say for that. We can move on.
Okay. We only got 4 stories left, 5 if we count also your thoughts on Summer Games Fest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gears of War E-Day, a new Gears prequel revealed. Microsoft officially confirms a new entry in the series is coming. During the Xbox Game Showcase, Microsoft officially announced the next entry in the Gears series, and it's going back in time. Gears E-Day, as it's called, is coming to Xbox and PC in the future. Of all the biggest reveals at the Xbox Game Showcase 2024, this was arguably the biggest, and Xbox saved it for last. The announcement is good news for fans who wanted to see the series continue, even if it may be going in the opposite direction on the timeline compared to what fans may have expected. The cinematic trailer shows a young Marcus Phoenix struggling with a single locust, something he's not prone to doing in the later games, but this a greener, less experienced Marcus. In the end, he overcomes thanks to his best bud Dom before the pair look out into the distance to see all hell breaking loose during Emergence Day, or the day when the locusts emerged from beneath the planet and went to war with humanity. The studio said that E-Day has long been the heart of the Gears universe, and so in building for the future, it looked to Gears' past. The game takes place 14 years before the original Gears of War story. This also means some of the weapons will call back to the war's earlier versions, like a Lancer without the iconic chainsaw that is instead equipped with a bayonet. However, the game is a story of many origins, teased the studio, so it seems we'll see the birth of the chainsawed Lancer during the campaign. The game also harkens back to the old days with a small nod to Gary Jules' Mad World cover, a song which has been linked to Gears of War ever since a memorable trailer featured the song over 15 years ago. The series, which has forever been tied closely to the Unreal Engine, will naturally be built in Unreal Engine 5. There's not yet a release date for the game. So let's look at comments. Sort by best or upvotes. Joe Coolin goes, "This was the best thing they could have done. The series took a serious downturn. The characters were getting weak, the story was okay at times, but the entirety of the Gears 5 campaign gameplay was built around a horde mode style, and it was terrible. It made zero sense because that's not how things work in a story. All combat scenarios started and the same way. Bringing back Dom and Marcus together is exactly what was needed. Now hopefully they change the gameplay formula. I don't want horde mode built into my campaign." Seaboy C18 goes, "The problem is that I highly doubt that devs can reproduce the gritty atmosphere from the original games, let alone the testosterone-fueled dialogue. We're not in the 90s, early 2000s anymore." And Joe Cullen says, "It looks really gritty so far, very similar to the original. The dialogue doesn't have to be an exact replica, but they did stay true to Marcus' character all the way through. I don't see that changing. The story should be a more intense and personal one. You can't expect it to be exactly the same. It's the origin story. It's what we always heard referenced about but never got to see. Dom and Marcus were young and hadn't grown into the hardened badass cog vets that we knew from the OG trilogy. You have to manage your expectations. Of course, it can end up bad, and they could butcher it completely, but I think they'll do Dom and Marcus justice at the very least. So, what do you think of Gears of War E-Day coming out? Hello?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
What do you think of Gears of War E-Day?
Oh yes, I saw the trailer back during the Summer Games Fest, especially with the Xbox Game Showcase. Yeah, it looks brutal in the trailer. You see Marcus beating the crap out of Locust and all, but you still stood in there, and then all of a sudden Dom came in and helped him out. It's good. Even though it's not a gameplay trailer, the story itself, you know that's going to be interesting. It'll be action packed. There's going to be lots of gore, especially with the chainsaw gun they're going to introduce later in the campaign at this rate. Because obviously, like you said, in an article, when you read an article, it was like the beginning supposed to be the lancet and the machine gun. That's about it. But later in the campaign, with the chainsaw. So, but so that the attachments like chainsaw, flamethrower, shotgun maybe built into the rifle. You know.
They said the Lancer will more likely have a bay in that instead of a chainsaw.
I think later in the campaign they're gonna have the chainsaw, right? No?
Well, no, they said this is gonna be back, since this is going back in time for 14 years before the original Gears of War. Some of the weapons aren't going to be as advanced as they were in Gears of War games that we love.
Okay, yeah, and it's going to feature the young Marcus, so
young Marcus and Dom. Yep. I don't know if Cole or Paddock is going to be there. Probably.
Right.
Probably join up some point.
You might see like a sequence they do with Gears 3 where it's like Coltrane had its moments back there right before E-Day when he was playing for a football game or whatever, and you see him like screaming and like woo, dancing and shit. All of a sudden the locusts come out of nowhere in the middle of the game. You know, that type of shit. I'm gonna see something like that. And woo, and then the coach will be like do the Coltrane tackles with the locusts, like woo-hoo! You know? Something like that. I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible. And I also think that going back in time was a good idea, because I'm sorry, but James Phoenix and his crew, they just were not the same as Marcus and his crew.
Yeah, JD is like the
for crying out loud. For crying out loud, Gears of War 4, people didn't care about it until Marcus came back. That's when people started caring about the campaign.
Yeah, JD was supposed to be the takeover for the business of killing locusts and all, but the locusts died, and now it's the swarm, and most of the time in Gears 4 you play robots, so...
Yeah.
Why is it called the robot?
And then Gears 5, like I said, Gears of 5, that game wouldn't even work when I played it on Game Pass.
You're not missing much. It's just a story like Kate just screaming and hollering and finding out her mysterious mother. That's about it.
Yes. So like I said, this sounds awesome. This is going to be an origin story. We don't know when it's coming out. We don't know what consoles it'll be for. But for people who have been disappointed with Gears of War recently, the last two entries, I'd say, this game definitely deserves a chance, because it's going back in time. They screwed up the future, so let's go back to the past, bring back the characters that people love.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely deserves a chance, I'd say. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on.
Okay. Next. Here's how Call of Duty Black Ops 6 works on Game Pass. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 now has a release date, and we have the full details on how to access it on Game Pass. We know that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming to Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass when it drops this October, and now we have the full details on how Game Pass subscribers will access it. Activision has published a massive blog on the official Call of Duty site to explain how it all works, but we've boiled it down for you in a few sentences below. Basically, Game Pass subscribers will be able to access Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at launch on October 25th if they are actively subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate, Game Pass PC, or Game Pass Console. As you might expect, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers have access to both PC and Xbox versions of the game, as well as multiplayer and zombies modes on both platforms. However, those with a Game Pass Console subscription must also have a Game Pass Core Pass in order to play Black Ops 6's online modes like zombies, as well as general multiplayer. Subscribers can further upgrade to the game's Vault Edition, MS market sale retail price of $30 to receive benefits like a Mastercraft weapon collection and the Hunters vs. Hunted Operator Pack. To access pre-order bonuses like the Open Beta Early Access and the Woods Operator Pack, Game Pass subscribers must log into Modern Warfare 3 or Warzone on the platform where they hold their subscription at some point before October 25th. It's not clear this open beta will take place, but subscribers should look out for the concrete dates at some point soon. Additionally, if you unsubscribe to Game Pass, you naturally lose access to Black Ops 6 unless you resub or buy it outright. In other Call of Duty's news revealed at the Xbox Showcase, we recently learned that Black Ops 6 will require all players to have a continuous internet connection to enjoy the game, including the campaign. And so we get a comment. Nintendians goes, nice info. So what do you think of this? Basically having to have Game Pass Core and Game Pass Ultimate if you're on console, or Game Pass on both if you want to play the online modes, like zombies, or general multiplayer.
Well, Black Ops 6, I see that they're finally appealing to the fans now for quite after a while now, and they're trying to use this Omni movement to make sure that people are playing fair and square by advancing the moves and mastering the techniques and all. Now, as far as the on the Game Pass and such, it's well worth it. I bet to some players out there because they can't afford $75, $80, if not more so, compared to what this year getting to buy a copy straight up. But if you have $15, $16, to spare, then you play for a month. Then if you like it, you buy a full game when you get paid again next time. So, more power to us, as a gamers.
The thing is, but the problem is, with this is though that basically it's also we're going to require an internet connection even if you're just playing the campaign.
Right, that's the downfall.
So this is basically an always online game.
Yeah, that's the downfall to this game.
It's dumb. It's dumb. I mean, you should have the game and obviously an internet connection. And if you want to say people need membership of some kind to play zombies and multiplayer, that's fine. But the campaign should not require an internet connection. This sounds just like it's like making things harder when they don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I hate about gaming today. So I mean, yeah.
Although it would be nice as a makeup to that always online gaming, can you do cloud gaming for this game? That'll be great. I haven't seen that because I play on Xbox One.
Right. I don't know. But they just said that you'll need Game Pass Core and Game Pass Ultimate if you're just on console, or if you have Game Pass Ultimate on PC and console, then you'll have access. It just sounds like it's making you sign up for more things than you should have to.
Yeah.
If you want to play this game. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on now.
All right. Snake's injuries will mark him permanently in Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, and fans are stoked. The new damage system lets Snake's body tell the story of your journey. One of the many amazing games shown off during the 2024 Xbox Showcase on June 9th was the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Officially titled Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the new trailer gave us a fresh look at the gorgeous updated graphics for the 20-year-old game. In tandem, Konami also updated the game's website with new information, including a fascinating reveal that damage will permanently mark Snake. That feels like a proper Kojima-esque design flourish, and fans are absolutely here for. Under the section Authentic to Life Portrayals, the remake site details on overhauled damage system focused on lasting wear and tear. Harm to Snake's body, including bruises and bullet wounds, as well as damage to his clothes, will be reflected in real time. Any injuries to his actual body will leave their mark permanently, reads the blurb, telling a story of each player's unique journey through the game. So is that it? No, of course not. Despite the jokes about how messed up you will be able to make Snake look by the end of the game, players are genuinely excited about the future, and especially how it feels so fitting in the franchise's odd choices. Metal Gear Solid games are known for their weird design flourishes that seemingly have no real purpose beyond complexity. In Metal Gear Solid 2, you can watch a cup of ice melt in real time, and the original Metal Gear Solid 3, you can win a fight against an aging sniper, the end, by simply waiting 7 real-world days for him to die of old age. I did not know that. As absurd as these features may sometimes seem, they always add to the depth and immersion of the world. The upgraded damage system of Metal Gear Solid Delta feels like a logical next step for the series, and many see it as a truly Kojima-level choice. Okay, more Twitter shots, of course. Okay, hold on. As far as how the new damage system will go, Konami hasn't given details on what to expect beyond what's explained in the short blurb on the website. My best guess is that all damage taken by Snake will be able to be healed, this is a video game after all, but will leave a lasting scar, eventually creating a tapestry of mistakes or close calls with death unique to you. Maybe death will leave an exceptionally deep scar on Snake to remind you of when and why you failed. In any case, it's a fascinating tease of what's to come in Metal Gear Solid Delta. So what do you think of this new system that's going to be in the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake?
I think this though if it's on normal mode, okay, you can have the everlasting injuries to Solid Snake or the naked Snake at the time. But if it's on extreme mode and stuff like that, that's going to be some realistic challenges right there for that particular self-made or imposed or sustainable injury to the certain body parts and all, the Snake and all. They just do that for those modes, make it more realistic. But for normal and right, less challenging, less difficulty, it should be so that the Red Metal Gear Solid 3 game itself. Maybe Metal Gear Solid 4, maybe, I'm not sure, because I'm still trying to play Metal Gear Solid 4 whenever I can. Because Metal Gear Solid 3 is supposed to be the poster child or the pre-rendering of Metal Gear Solid 4's gameplay for the PS3 back in 2005, 6, 7, 8, around that time frame and all. And it was pretty cool for what they did for those games. But now with this remake, I mean, what it should do is do like a remake for Metal Gear Solid 1 and take it from there. To make it for the sake of the 25th anniversary of Metal Gear Solid, of the Metal Gear Solid series. Because Metal Gear Solid started in 1998 of its first game. And beforehand it was Metal Gear 1 and 2. So, but they have the collections obviously for Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 right now. That they came out a few months back. So it's whatever. I wish they would do is to render the Metal Gear Solid 1 for better graphics for the sake of the collection, So that's what I say about the matter of Metal Gear Solid 3 and the other games that came out earlier.
Okay. All I have to say is I think this is cool. Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 already had things like this, like shooting a bag of flour and you can watch it pour out. And or Metal Gear Solid 1 seeing footsteps in the snow. And if you watch it and a guard didn't find it, you'd see snow slowly cover the footstep up. So, I mean, Metal Gear Solid has always done stuff like this, so that's cool that your version of Snake will show a roadmap of where you've tried and failed, based on scars and stuff. So I think this is going to be cool. It's going to be something different. So this sounds pretty cool for people who have been waiting to try out this game. Before we go into the last story, is there anything from Xbox Game Showcase or Summer Games Fest that you want to cover that we didn't go over?
we can still talk about the Xbox Showcase right now if we can, right? So,
Yeah,
oh, you want to talk about it right this second, of course.
whatever you. Yes,
I figure you watching yourself too. The Xbox Showcase, the Summer Games Fest.
I
And,
didn't. I didn't. But I was gonna let you. Like I said, I was gonna let you have the floor. And like I said, anything I didn't cover, um,
well,
now would be the time to bring it up.
oh, okay. That's thanks a lot, Triple J. I appreciate that. So, good old goody Xbox Showcase. Well, they showed obviously a few games that I like. The Gears of War prequel of the E-Day game. They also showed the South of Midnight, which that's been around for a couple of years now, showing trailers every year for the last couple of years now, and it's supposed to come out next year, 2025. Then also other games that came out with it didn't really spark my interest at first. But I'll wait until more details come out after that Xbox Game Festival. That's all I gotta say for the matter with Xbox, because the only thing that stood out to me was Black Ops 6 because of the conspiracy theories with the post Cold War, and the Gulf War and all. So to those that are conspiracy theorists, this should be a game you should play for the sake of story and also historical reference, if you want to call it like that, like they did with the Black Ops Cold War. So I was excited for that game because of the Yuri Bezmov scene it showed as the promo for the game for Black Ops Cold War back in 2020. So now on to Summer Game Fest. It seems like it's a lot, you can buy these games on Steam within the next few months to a year from now. Personally, myself, I cannot wait for certain games that get showed in Summer Games Fest. One of them happens to be the one called Killer Bean. That one still my interest from the Steam game library. That's going to come out later this year or next year. And it's like that James Bond 007 type of fashion where it's like, you're this agent being that you do all missions for the government agent. Now the government agent is a rogue agent and want to take you out. And the only way to survive is to take out the agency. And that's what he's going to be doing in this game, Killer Bean, in my perspective, based on the trailer I saw. It was pretty creative. It looks like all the scenes and the shootings and bust-up moves, I call them. It's pretty cool and all. Then there's also games called Deer and Boy, where you are co-opted with a deer as you get older in the game to navigate the natural elements of of those woods and all, and enemies to come afoot. They don't show much gameplay of it last time I checked, but it looks cool. Well, let's look from the Never Alone game. It came out back in 2014, 2013 for the Xbox. That was based on Eskimos surviving the tundras and all, and the Antarctica scenario, the elements and all. So, Deer and Boy is a similar fashion to that. Now, games like that Once Human, it's going to be a free-to-play. I think it's going to be. Not sure yet, but basically you're humans trying to fight the machines and all. That's another interesting story it looks like to look into. As of this week on Steam, I think they put this on the Summer Games Fest. It was the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 remix in one, as one copy of the game for about $34 on Steam now. Until whenever it's going to come, stop being on sale as of this moment. There's also Mina the Hollower that looks cool. Looks like it have basically like a Mary Poppins version of a cross platform gameplay and stuff. Not cross platform, what's called platform gameplay and all that stuff, and kind of similar to that of Wanda the Wanderer and Hollow Knight, pretty much. In that similar fashion, if you want to compare those two. It's also Wonder Stop, which is basically you make all kinds of teas, and then at the end of the trailer, this lady was having some sort of negative thoughts coming into her head that turned out to be like, I guess you call it mental illness of sorts. They've been focused on mental illness for the last like 5 years now. Games like City on Blade and all, because it's been a rise in the society at large. I take part of that matter being a part of the being a patient of mental illness for a while, but I'm stable at right now for years on end, so I don't have to worry too much. But this Wonder Stop game is kind of like she's just going through these man versus himself scenarios, and then all of a sudden her friend, who's bigger and taller than him, he said, Wanda, are you okay? Or whatever her name was, and then she's like, I'm okay, and they'll just pitch in to make tea and stuff like it. It looks good to kids out there who deal with mental related matters. You don't have to be mentally ill to still to go through mental catastrophes or mental agony, So that's all I can think of right now from these fest showcases. Unfortunately, I didn't watch PlayStation showcase in time. State of Play. I heard bad things about the showcase of Sony, so I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know the full details per se. Let's just say that there are YouTubers like Xbox One A Frog, he calls himself. If you type in the actual Xbox #1 and then Frog, you'll see his channel. He talked about it in negative light on the State of Play last month. He's one of those few that reviewed these Game Fest trailers and all. So that's all I got to say for the matter. I appreciate you, Triple H, for telling me more. Let me speak for a while for talk about these summer trailers and Game Fest and all. So it's I would recommend this though, that if you want to see what you want to see with Summer Games Fest, go right ahead. It's previewed on YouTube for free. Xbox Showcase the same thing too. But other than that, if you missing something, if you didn't watch these showcases, but that's about it. It's you will be surprised for next year right now from now. Go right ahead. Don't watch the Summer Games Fest. So, that's all I got to say for that.
Okay. All right. So, ready to move on for the final story for tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Last story for tonight. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop emerges with new trailer, September release. Repop promises to be the definitive version of the cult classic hack and slash game. After being delayed for over a year, Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, the remake of the 2012 hack and slash game, will release on September 25th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Looks like if I want to play this game again, I'm going to have to track down a PS3 version.
Yeah.
Developed by Dragani Games, Lollipop Chainsaw Repop follows Juliet Starling, a high school cheerleader and descendant of a family of zombie hunters, as she and the disembodied head of her boyfriend fight off the zombie apocalypse with a trusty chainsaw. While Repop won't see the return of its original director and writer duo, Gacha Suda 51 Suda and James Gunn, Dragami Games CEO Yoshimi Yasuda assures fans that the remake will live up to fans' expectations. Repop is a definitive version of the game which leaves the story unchanged, with the focus on quality of life improvements and additional gameplay content, Yasuda wrote in a tweet. Key among Repop's updates from the original are shortened load times and heightened resolution and frame rates. More specifically, the PS5, Xbox Series, and PC versions of Repop will support 4K resolution and 60 frames per second, while the Switch will support full HD resolution and 30 frames per second. Other quality of life updates include an auto QuickTime event feature, improved camera responses, and a streamer mode for music. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop was first announced back in 2022 before being delayed from summer 2023 to summer 2024. As a follow-up tweet to the game's release date and trailer, Yasuda revealed that players will have over 30 outfits to fashion Juliet and Repop. While all the original game's costumes will be available in Repop, Juliet's copyrighted ensembles like her Dead Man Wonderland and High School of the Dead anime costumes won't be coming along for the ride. In our original review of Lollipop Chainsaw, we gave the game a 5 out of 10, saying Lollipop Chainsaw doesn't even attempt to differentiate itself from the genre, and most of what it does try new in the realm of its characters and writing ultimately ends up taking away from an incredible on-paper action game. Despite our reservations about Lollipop Chainsaw, the game has garnered cult classic status among gamers with an affinity for the hack and slash genre. Hopefully, Repop will resonate with players the same way the original game did. So let's look at some comments. Phoenix Ashes 629 goes, I'm such an old man. I remember this was the first time I realized IGN could be wrong. I saw they gave it a 5, but after watching trailers and seeing James Gunn's name, I didn't understand how it could possibly be bad. And I was right. The game was fantastic. Rob Grizzly goes, to be fair, a lot of reviews were pretty down on the game. Personally, I wouldn't have been as harsh because the style and humor went a long way with me, but I did think the combat lacked variety. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And Arms Band goes, it took Lollipop Chainsaw for you to know IGN could be wrong. Most every professional reviewer used two games, God Hand and Deadly Premonition, as their monthly joke reviews. They used to always set up one game as the worst of the month so they could try out their shit comedy material and rake something for fan reaction. Both these games became almost instant cult classics, and they have been backtracking since. So, are you excited about Lollipop Chainsaw Repop or no?
Yeah, I'm very surprised they're going to reinitiate the game again, this time for more advanced graphics and maybe more story lore, if ever.
They said the story remains unchanged.
Okay. They're going to add to the story, so leave it as is. Okay. All right. Then.
Leave it as is. Yeah, they said basically it's all performance and graphic updates is what this will have.
Okay. Yeah, if it's expensive though, because obviously I checked that the Xbox 360 version is like $50 on Amazon, so brand new by the way, so it's still expensive to buy. But if you get the Xbox S&S PS5 edition, if not PC, that'll be what, $50 maybe at most. So
yeah. So I mean, Lollipop Chainsaw is not a cheap game, regardless where you get it, whether you get the remake or the original. I'll actually look on price charting to see what the PS3 version goes for, because until I get a working Xbox 360, that's how I'm going to have to play 7th gen games is on PS3.
Yeah,
Lollipop
PS3 on Amazon, that's $100 for a copy of the refurbished edition.
Okay, so I just want to see what what price charting says. Okay. A Lollipop Chainsaw on PS3, it's like $55 loose, and like $80 complete, and $110 brand new. But like I said, if you're buying a game brand new all these years later, that's dumb. You're gonna play it if you're gonna play it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
On the 360, it is cheaper, $34 loose, $44.29 complete, and like $60 brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not a cheap game. I'd probably have to get it loose. I was going to get it for PS3.
I always wanted to play Lollipop Chainsaw, but I didn't have the money for it and the time, especially back in 2012, 2013. So when I got back, during the time when I was recuperating from my situation back in 2013 and all, I was focusing on trying to play more on Halo 4 and Halo Reach, and those servers got shut down as of last time I checked. So it sucks, man. But other than that, Lollipop Chainsaw, it's a hack and slash single player game, so I can play anytime I want to, right? So as long as I don't do that DRM only, gotta be kept to get to that at all times. With this edition coming this year, I'll be fine with buying the remake, if you want to call it like that.
Yeah. Well, this game, I mean, like I said, it's So I mean, I played the first 2 levels. I got to the 3rd level, which was the first boss. But I do have to admit, this game did lack variety in the combat. It was just cut. It was just cut, and cut more. So I really didn't find any variety, at least in the first few levels. There could have been more later on. So I mean, if you like the game and never played it, or you wanted to try it out and you got a PS5 or Xbox Series, you can get this remake. Like I said, I'll be getting a PS3 copy if I can find it for cheap.
Yeah.
Or cheaper than price charting suggests. But this is coming out in September. If you never got the chance to try it and you want to try what is basically being called the definitive version of Lollipop Chainsaw. And that is it. That was the end of the 100th episode of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. The next episode is planned to be on June 29th, 2 weeks from tonight at 9 p.m. Dr. Games 101, do you have any plans for tomorrow?
Not exactly tomorrow. Most likely I'll be doing more editing for this podcast, as always. What I wanted to do is play more Cyberpunk 2077, which I have not been doing for the last couple weeks now, because I did say I want to do more of a gameplay of Guilty Gear and Cyberpunk. So if I did Guilty Gear, but every time I watch I record it, the game sound wouldn't come up. But now I fixed that, man, so it should work next time when I record through OBS, of course. So, but through Elgato it works no problem, but it takes a while, very long time for it to record and all. So it's you need to process the video days on Elgato. So other than that, it's been a pleasure, guys. That it's the 100th episode of the podcast. Out of coincidence, it's in time for the Summer Games Fest of 2024. So and also other fests of 2024 as well. So it's been a pleasure, Triple J. I will still stick by you. To keep doing this every 2 weeks as always, and let's hope for the next 100 more. It'll happen for MNFest. So
yeah. If we're crazy enough to stick around for another 100 episodes, let's see. So. Well, I don't have any plans on going anywhere, so I'll definitely be here. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Follow me if you did. And also, this clips of this will be uploaded to my YouTube channel over the next couple of weeks, as always. And I hope you join us for episode 101 in 2 weeks. Until then, good night, everyone.
Later, guys.